Adrenaline in my soul.
Whoa.
Here comes the intro.
Oh my God, what the hell is this? He's gonna try it! And will this be enough? My God, Hogan, take it!
What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Ruckus Wrestling. I am Josh Mabry, alongside my tag team partner in this journey, Justin Toner. How are we doing today, sir?
Feeling really good after this guy, another guy named Osprey. I had a all-time classic this weekend, along with lots of other goodness going on this week, and also some not so good news for some people, unfortunately. Yeah. But we'll get that.
Yeah. Well, actually, we can kind of get into things that we already knew. Things. Okay, this isn't. It wasn't like it's bad news.
Yeah,
it still sucks, but it wasn't like, oh my God.
Yeah,
it wasn't like a Rhea Ripley situation.
No.
So Seth Rollins, obviously Becky Lynch revealed. No shit. Seth Rollins had a torn meniscus. We've known that, but he fought through it. As we talked about before, a meniscus is different ACL. You can manage around it. He did what he needed to do. He finally had surgery.
Yep.
And so it was partially it was repaired on the 16th, and his recovery time is a little bit longer than I was expecting. That doesn't mean that he can't do a John Cena and come back a lot earlier. But what other details can you have for us, Justin?
We don't have too many details. Because last week WWE did a quick tour in the UK, in Ireland. And of course, Becky was, really happy to be home in Ireland, where she's from, and she was on a late night talk show over there. And this is where she revealed that Seth had surgery that Tuesday. So this was like Tuesday last week that he had the surgery. So he's home recovering now. Getting to spend time with Rue. Nothing wrong with that. Their daughter's adorable. And we kind of, not surprising, we knew that he had it. It's like I think he he did some rehab so he could be able to do it, be able to do through WrestleMania. But so now he's going to get some well-deserved time off because he needs to heal after everything that he's done, and the man deserves it. I think from what I'm reading here, the recovery time for getting is like 6 to 8 weeks. So he's probably going to be out for at least like 2 to 3 months, probably at least, if not longer.
Yeah.
So we probably won't see him back until probably maybe after Money in Bank, maybe before SummerSlam potentially.
He might do something. I'm guessing they're probably going to rest him just because of his back and just he was just banged up.
Yeah, he deserves a rest after everything he did, especially at WrestleMania. It's like it's like he deserves some time off.
Right. Let CM Punk and you because the last thing we want Seth to do right now is we want him and CM Punk. So don't rush him back because McIntyre's got that right now. As long as they can get their contract negotiations figured out by June. Is that Becky and Seth? On the contract stuff.
Yeah.
Because Becky and Seth and McIntyre, all three of them have not renewed their contracts.
The only big name that we knew contract was coming up in the near future that has resigned is Finn Balor.
Right.
So I think I know everyone. I think everyone's just hyped up because it's just as it's news. I think they're going to resign. There's no reason for them to go anywhere after, especially with the way WWE is now under Triple H, and Vince is finally, gone and has like no influence or anything, stuff like that. There's no reason for them to want to leave.
No.
It's like, especially Drew McIntyre with his what he's done with his heel turn over the last several months, from last fall all through Mania until now, has been absolutely mind-blowingly amazing.
Right.
It's like, did you see him on? Did you see the tweet he put out today where he's like mocking Stone Cold on Broken Skull sessions? It's like he's on fire.
Hot damn, son. You know, the whole thing.
And like this week is like stuff that him and Sheamus had some good barbs going back and forth.
We'll get into that. We'll save that.
Yeah.
Because just save that.
I'm not worried about all three of them leaving. They're going to get paid. They got the money now. And there's no reason to. They're very happy. I mean, Becky just got the world title put on her. Because
we have some thoughts on that, but yes, you go with your narrative. Keep going.
So, they've not talked about anything about like giving any kind of hint that they're interested in going anywhere. It's like I'm not worried about it.
According to the internet, why would you go anywhere? Nothing else is better, according to the internet.
Yeah, I mean. It's like, I mean, even if they want to go to AEW, is there room for them there? Would they get, it's like AEW is really fucking loaded right now. And where people like, that are really talented, like Miro and Ricky Starks, Lance Archer are all lost in the shuffle. It's like,
Well, Ricky and Hook are coming to WWE.
So, and plus they know, I mean, I also the fact that they are still heavily pushing this CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre stuff. I think it's just a matter of just like they're just taking their time with it.
Yeah,
it's like they know that when CM Punk comes back from injury, that feud is gonna be money.
That's your SummerSlam. Because I mean that's right in with Punk's heel.
Yeah.
So
it's like if Punk may be back by maybe ready to go by the time we get the Money in the Bank.
Right, and you don't. I mean, you could, but. Because CM Punk and Money in the Bank is synonymous, but SummerSlam is your second WrestleMania.
Saying, it sounds like he's almost ready. It's just that they're probably just taking it easy.
Well, dude,
he'll be back.
He's Mr. Glass, unfortunately, at this point.
Yeah, he'll be back by SummerSlam.
Right. Which I think they
earlier.
should do. All right. Moving on to some other unfortunate news. There's been another, which I was kind of surprised, but then. Not really. I've kind of looked into it, but there's been other WWE releases. Jinder Mahal, Xia Li, Zion Quinn, Sangha and Veer Mahan, Von Wagner, and Cameron Grimes.
Yep.
Okay. So of these, most of them they were saying, they've been around for 5 years, but they haven't developed like some others have, which I can understand. Now, also too, it always sucks because all of these people, it's not like they, other than Zion Quinn, you can probably, because he was more of an NXT guy and I really didn't watch him, but other than that, like all these other people have been around for a while and they pushed them in certain areas and gave them spots. And now whether or not they just didn't book them correctly or whatnot, I never bought into Sangha and Veer Mahan. Obviously, Jinder Mahal, he was forced into it for a money grab, but it wasn't like Jinder Mahal, who's great, whatnot. But that being said, that gender stuff that he did before he got released with Seth Rollins and his online stuff with him and Tony Khan kind of go back and forth, him doing the stuff with The Rock, like he was doing. When they asked him to do to step up and do something, people bought into it.
Yeah.
Xia Li, unfortunately, that Becky thing just fell flat. No one bought into it. Cameron Grimes really sucks because if you watch the online video and then it comes out that he basically was thinking it was writing on the wall and he was probably going to get released. He asked an executive, "Hey, I'm going to release." He goes, "Dude, no way." And then 5 days later, he got released.
Yeah.
So Cameron Grimes is going to be fine. I'm not worried about Cameron Grimes at all, at the slightest. The dude was money, no pun intended with his character, but he was money in TNA. He basically made himself in TNA because he's your typical indie dude like through and through. Like if you look at like what's an indie wrestler look like? I don't know, Cameron Grimes. Like that's an indie wrestler, and he was still able to do something NXT. With his feud with LA Knight and the $1 Million Man and stuff. That was pretty cool with Ted DiBiase. But your Von Wagner though threw me off. But your thoughts on that? Because Von Wagner was in a lot of storylines in NXT. I guess they just I never bought into him, number one. But it wasn't because I didn't buy into him. I'm just one person. I'm just showing like they always would give him work and always give him stuff to do. And then they just release him. Maybe it just, again, these are all people that have been around for a while and they just realize they just never grabbed the brass ring is what I'm getting.
Some of these getting cut loose didn't surprise me. I mean, like in this year, it's like they never really gave him a proper voice. I mean, and like even under Vince, like do you remember the vignettes where like Veer's coming, and then it went fucking nowhere? Thanks a lot, Vince. It's like, the Von Wagner one was a little surprising just because they tried to do so much with him, but I guess they just felt that it just wasn't there yet. I mean, he was pretty decent in the ring, but I think it was his promo skills. I think were still lacking a little. And even though they paired with Robert Stone, even he was being his mouthpiece, I guess it just wasn't enough. So the one, also, Jinder Mahal was kind of surprising because he's been around for so long.
Right.
And I guess they don't really are not worried about going into the Indian market right now. It's like especially cutting those guys loose. The one that I am the most bothered by and most disappointed is Cameron Grimes, because I've been a Cameron Grimes fan since I first.
We literally just talked about him last show or a couple weeks ago when his Braun Breaker match. We're like, what are we doing?
Yeah, that's where I was like, I've been really worried about him for a while because like he's barely been on TV, he's hardly been used. It's like I immediately was like, okay, I like this guy as soon as he debuted in NXT. I saw him in person, fighting for when he just got to NXT. He was in the breakout tournament. He was in the finals. The finals were at NXT Takeover in Toronto in 2019. So it's like I've seen him wrestle in live in person, and it was like, damn, the guy's talented, and he just absolutely killed it in NXT with his character work. The whole $1 Million Man stuff was brilliant. His feud with LA Knight was awesome. Over the $1 Million belt, some funny skits where it's like he lost to LA Knight and he had to become LA Knight's butler.
Right.
It's like him and LA Knight, no surprise, made it work. It's like you think that sounds really stupid, but no, it was actually really funny and hilarious, and it worked. And of course, they got to work with DiBiase, which is also awesome. But when he got called to the main roster, that's when Vince was still around and had was over Triple H's head, as he talked about on Bust Up Radio. That was pretty much the death knell. But so that that doesn't surprise me. What bothers me is that even under with Vince being gone for a while, they still couldn't find anything for him.
No.
Instead, just using him as a jobber for Brian. Brian needs to get over, but Cameron Grimes shouldn't be being the jobber fed to someone like to put Braun or somebody else over.
No,
it's like he should be getting a push. He's really freaking talented. He's got charisma. It's like he was so over in NXT, man. When he won the North American title, fans went nuts in that ladder match. It's like he finally achieved it. It's like finally won some gold there. Besides the $1 Million belt, because it's like that's not a real official title, but. So
it's real to me, damn it. Call back.
So that one really kind of like just bummed me out because I felt bad for him. It's like he just got dealt a raw deal. It's like it's unfortunate.
Especially when he watches video on Twitter that he posted.
I know.
That sucks.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate. But I hopefully I'm sure he'll end up like in TNA or something, and on the Indies I think he's gonna do fine. And who knows? Maybe down the line, it's like when things may be a little better, maybe he can get another shot in WWE. So you never know. I mean, it's like look Drew McIntyre, and look what happened with Drew McIntyre and Cody Rhodes. It's like they flamed out in WWE because it's like they got just like I don't know, it's like it's like they were pushed, but it's like then they got to the point where they're not being used, and they're just like okay, nope. Where at least with Cody, he was able to like walk out on his own terms, whereas like
Right.
Drew was like cut and fired.
Mm-hmm.
It's like so. Cody, people like Cody and Drew are proof that even if you wash out of WWE on your first time, doesn't mean the end of the world. And who knows? It's like going out there into indies and rebuilding yourself. Can end up being the best thing. And it's like Drew and Cody both came back to WWE better and stronger and had just amazing. And look where they are now.
Yeah,
it's like,
and that was the thing with like going back to with Cameron, because you can tell he's got the personality, he's got the in-ring work, like all of that. So I was surprised, especially. But with Jinder, my theory has always been is people always have a bad taste in their mouth with Jinder.
Yeah.
And the fact that we've seen, like, especially with his thing with Seth and his thing online, and like he's kind of did like the Drew thing, which I think Drew helped him out a lot with that, because he was really with him and Tony Khan going back and forth and stuff.
Yeah.
And how Drew's really done well with social media right now. So, and then Drew posted, him in 3-man band, like, when he got released, and kind of gave him his like props, but like, till again, brother type of thing. But the one thing with Jinder, and it's not Jinder's fault, but McMahon was like, hey, you're the muscular guy and we're getting ready to go to Saudi Arabia, and you look like them. So I'm just going to force a title on you when no one buys it.
Yeah, that was always the complaint, was like Jinder's win was obviously, it didn't feel like, it's like, oh yeah, it's, it didn't feel earned. It felt like it was just like, okay, we know what you're doing. This is a very token thing. And he didn't have a very long run with the title anyway. He only had it for a couple months anyway. So it's like, yeah, his WWE title one was always like kind of like marred with controversy, because it was more about everyone's like, and they only put the title in because they're trying to push in the Asian market. It's like, oh look, first ever Indian wrestler is WWE.
He's Canadian. Just so you know, he's Canadian. But I mean, yes, he is that nationality, obviously, but he's actually Canadian. It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
You think about it, but yeah, and that's the thing, is like Jinder can never get away from that. That's the shadow that overbears him, and we're like, all right, well, but these last couple months, whenever they were like, here, Jinder, you go out there and get face to face with The Rock, he actually did pretty well in that segment. And then his stuff with what they're like, all right, Jinder's going to go against Seth. He and Tony Khan chirped at him, and then he chirped back, and people really Tony Khan did the WCW, hey, Mick Foley's going to win this match, by the way, that's it for you. He helped that match because of him and Jinder going back and forth. And if it wasn't for Jinder going back at Tony and Tony and like doing that, so Jinder could easily come back and be fine, but it's that shadow that he just can't overcome of something that has nothing to do with him. Like, if you're going to get the belt, why wouldn't you get the belt? Doesn't matter how forced it feels on it, but it's never great when someone Jinder's been around for a while, he'll be fine. But yeah, it sucks for Cameron, because he was doing really good work in NXT, and ever since he came up, they just never had anything for him. And and I don't know how he didn't break through of like, all right, let's just do this angle or send me back to NXT. Well, I mean, I don't know what to tell you, but TNA can always, he can go back, and like you said, Cameron is good enough to where he can go and they'll bring him back. It's just, I think this is an Endeavor call.
Yeah.
On that. All right. Let's go. Well, I want to save the draft for the last part of news, because I want you to still explain to me, like, explain to the people like we're 5 on how it works. But grizzled young vets. I know they came on at the TNA pay-per-view. They came out there, but we realized a lot of times, even with Broken Matt Hardy, TNA really doesn't have like, okay, you're TNA exclusive type of contracts. It's kind of like they're at the indie type of like, all right, come in, do the thing.
Yeah, you want to come in and work? Yeah, well, it's like, this was kind of surprising, but also nice. Grizzled veterans who spent a lot of years in WWE, working in NXT UK and NXT proper. Fantastic tag team. I thought they were excellent. And unfortunately, after NXT UK was folded, their push went absolutely down the toilet, and they ended up in absolute
that Joe Gacy
during NXT. One of the worst things that came out of NXT 2.0 was the whole Schism faction, and they got shoved into that with Joe Gacy and Ava, and it was just like it was death. So I felt so bad for them. It got to the point where they publicly were like, we want out. It's like we're not happy here anymore. And it's like, and it sucks, especially because by the time they were asking for release, that's when HBK was just starting to really turn NXT around, So, but I think by that time they were probably didn't feel like that, they weren't going to be able to go anywhere, especially after the Schism stuff, man. It was just like, such a waste of a talented tag team. AEW put out a video today with a pre-recorded message from the Grizzled Veterans with Lexi Derrick that they are coming to AEW and they're going to debut on Collision this weekend. And they called out the Acclaimed. So,
I thought Max Caster put on Twitter, like, Max, why haven't we seen you? He goes, I'm suspended. I don't think he is. Obviously, if they called out the Acclaimed, but still.
Some people thought maybe because it felt like his we'll go into Dynasty people are like, oh boy, with his rap.
Wasn't that great?
No. He's been making some interesting social media choices lately. People wondering if it's like, does he want to stay in AEW? Because
I don't think him and Sammy.
But anyway, back to the Grizzly. Great tag team. Really happy. That's a great boost to AEW's tag division. Kind of neat because it's got a little anemic, unfortunately, over the last 2 years. These guys can kick ass. I mean, them against FTR and the Bucks and all the other really good teams they got there, fantastic. And also, word is that Motor City Machine Guns are going to AEW as well. So you had both of those two tag teams into their tag division. That's a huge boost for AEW's tag division. Adding both of those guys.
Yeah. I mean, I like their stuff before they got in Schism.
Mm-hmm.
So when they were asking for the release, I'm like, you realize the shift that's going on here, but you do what you gotta do. They got their release, and then, like you said, it was just like, all right, we got our release. By the way, stuff's better now. So more people are wanting to stay around in WWE instead of being like, oh, I'm released, thank you. Now I can go to AEW and get paid a bunch of money to sit in the wayside because Tony doesn't know how to book. Anyway.
Yep.
But no, I'm very excited because there's one thing that AEW is very good with is the tag division.
Yeah,
it's always been solid all the time since the birth of it.
Mm-hmm.
And ending here, the draft is coming up.
Oh, you mean the NFL draft? Oh wait, no.
Well, it's going on right now.
It's going on right now.
Doing stuff while I'm also keeping up with it.
Oh, by the way, I got a sneak peek. Tony Khan, Tony's still got the neck brace on.
They got the neck brace. Good job, Tony. Way to keep kayfabe, even though you walked out of the ring. Anyway, tell us how this draft is working because there's a lot of difference.
Yeah.
In how they're doing it, and I am intrigued.
Okay, so all right, let me pull up the rules here.
Carry the 4, ladies and gentlemen. Carry the 4. It's a little complicated, but yet it's cool if you can get it.
Okay. All right, so here are the rules that they've put in place for the this year's draft between the brands. Now, this is going to be a 3-way draft, which they haven't done in a while. So NXT is going to be able to pick people to come to NXT. So they're going to be grabbing like main roster stars to come to NXT. So it's going to go both ways because obviously there's certain people that we're expecting that are going to get drafted. On SmackDown tomorrow night, they're going to do 4 rounds. Both brands are going to have a total combined 16 picks. So that means there's going to be 8 picks between Raw and SmackDown in 4 rounds on Friday. Then the draft will finish on Raw Monday, 6 rounds, 24 picks. So that means 12 each. Now, here's the big difference from previous drafts. The current champions are not draft eligible. They are protected. They are not going anywhere. So Cody, Logan Paul, Waller, and Theory, and Bailey are staying on SmackDown, and Damian Priest, Sami Zayn, Awesome Truth, and Becky are staying on Raw. So the only champions that are eligible to be moved to a different show are the women's tag team champions. They're the only ones who are not protected. So that's a huge difference because champions have been the champions, and that's caused all kinds of like where like the current like Raw tag or women's champion got drafted to the other brand, and they had to do the whole stupid title swap bullshit. Hated that. So thankfully that's done with. So I think this is a fantastic change. They should have done this a while ago. Women's champions are only champions who are eligible to be drafted by a brand. SmackDown will get the first pick on Friday. Raw will get to pick first on Monday. And the roster changes from the draft will take effect Monday, May 6th after Backlash next Saturday in France. So here, just a quick rundown. Here are the people who are going to be eligible to be drafted tomorrow night on SmackDown. The Bloodline, which is right now Roman, Solo, Tama Tonga, and Heyman. The OC, Good Brothers, and Mia Yim. Zoe Stark, Shayna Baszler, Sheamus, Seth, Braun Breaker, AJ Styles, Alba Fire, Ilsa Dawn, Ivar, Cedric, and Shante Donis. All of Alpha Academy, Andrade, Bianca, Nia Jax, Liv Morgan, LA Knight, Jey Uso, Randy Orton, Ricochet. That's some heavy hitting talent that's coming up for that to be actually on night 1. And then everybody else is eligible on Monday night, which is a lot more people, where you've got, LWO, Legado del Fantasma, Jade, the Pride, let's see, New Day, Pretty Deadly, New Quarter Catch Crew. A lot of the tag teams, most of the tag teams are eligible to be drafted on Raw. It's like CM Punk, Creed Brothers, Ivy Nile, you name it. Braun Strowman is in the draft, so he's back on the board. I think he's still out with injury. He's draft eligible. Same with Seth. So even though they're both kind of like out with injury still, they're eligible. And now they don't show any of the NXT stars here, but NXT stars, they said, are draft eligible. So the 2 big names that are pretty much a lock to get drafted at this point are Ilya Dragunov and Carmelo Hayes. They're guaranteed to be picked. Yes. It's like Carmelo Hayes. It's like actually word got out apparently this week that he along with Shawn Michaels requested his call up to the main roster be delayed because he wanted to help put Trick over before he went to the main roster. That tells you what.
We'll get into that match and why my rant on Dave Meltzer is still true.
Meltzer. So that's the rules. That's the setup for the WWE Draft. It's gonna be very interesting because apparently some groups are like a group package. So like if you draft the Bloodline, you're drafting Roman, Solo, Tama Tonga, and Heyman. Jimmy is not eligible in the draft because
he's hurt.
He's legit hurt, which is why they did the whole attack thing now, which worked out perfectly to help set up the new Bloodline. But that was also a cover so that he can take time off to heal because apparently he's got an injury. So he's not in the draft pool. So that means he's not going to be coming. They're not expecting him to be back anytime soon at least not right away. Whereas it's just that Seth and Braun Strowman are. So take that what you will. So it's going to be very interesting to see what SmackDown's going to do with the first pick, who they're going to take. I have no idea who could end up where. This is actually kind of interesting this year because you can see a lot of changes. I think the most important thing they need to do before I get into it's like I don't have too many guesses outside of who may go where, but this draft is a perfect opportunity to help balance out the women's division on both shows because I'm going to be frank, the Raw women's division has been very weak for a while compared to SmackDown. I mean, because when it came to with Rhea going out in the Battle Royal, there was only 3 people that you could see putting the belt out of those more than a dozen women. The only 3 viable people that are over enough to hold that title and actually kind of deserve it were the final 3: Liv,
Right.
Nia, and Becky Lynch. Now that's a problem with the creative that some other people who could have gotten pushes have not. It's like so. Whereas like on SmackDown, you've got Bayley, you've got Naomi, you've got Damage Control, you've got Jade, you've got Bianca, you've got Tiffany, and Charlotte. So it's like there's a big difference between SmackDown and Raw's women's division. So I hope the draft helps even out. It makes both women's divisions on each show well stocked at this point.
I would expect the Bloodline to stay on SmackDown
Probably.
at this point. You can't.
Because I can see-
Didn't they say that you can get drafted at NXT or no?
You can get drafted to NXT. Main roster stars can be drafted to NXT. They can choose to take main roster stars.
Because Ava's part of the draft too.
Yeah, because they've shown Ava talking with Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis. So it's like NXT is involved in the draft. They're not going to get they're not going to get as probably that many picks, but they'll probably announce this team is going to NXT for probably who knows, maybe they may do if someone picks an NXT star to draft up like Carmelo, then NXT is like, okay, then we're taking this person in return.
Right. I don't know.
So,
it's gonna be intriguing. And
I don't know how exactly that's going to work.
It's the first draft of the Triple H era.
Yeah. They haven't announced exactly what NXT is going to do pick wise, but the word is that they're going to grab some main roster stars to put on the brand, which is a good idea because it's helped some people. Look what it's done for Baron Corbin going back to NXT.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
I'm sorry. What'd you say? Who did help?
Baron Corbin.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I feel like I didn't mean to turn into the number 1 Baron Corbin fan because that's not really how I feel about him. But I just feel like people are giving him way too much hate than he deserves.
Certain feuds that are long term are not going to be separated. So Punk and Drew I guarantee you, are going to stay on the same show, no matter if it's Raw or SmackDown. They're both going to be on the same show because they're not going to separate them with the potential for that feud. So those two are going to be on the same brand. Now the Bloodline, that Bloodline is interesting. I see the Bloodline staying on SmackDown for the star power and the storyline. Also because even though it's more about the inner conflict and other stuff, eventually Solo might try to take the title from Cody before Roman gets back. Try to okay, Roman failed. I'm going to get the job done. I'm going to take care of Cody and get the title back. Of course he's not going to do that. And that can help build that whole storyline too. Because if he fails, then The Rock would be like, no. Let me show you guys how it's done. I'm going to take care of Cody.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's just, and I'm just,
don't be surprised.
Jacob Fatu was supposed to be on SmackDown, he was supposed.
There's rumors are he's going to be showing up very soon. If not,
right,
this week on SmackDown, he's probably going to show up at Backlash.
Right. I think he's going to show up at Backlash because they said he was going to show up kind of like with Tama Tonga, he was spotted and then he showed up. And we were wrong about that one of Tama. We were like, oh, he's not because he's Tongan, right? He's not.
Yeah, you thought he might because of the whole Bullet Club history that he was going to be associated with the OC, but nope.
Might as well.
But-
I just like how Eric Bischoff, he was like, dude, he's such a good young wrestler. I was like, dude, he's 42. That was hilarious. He was like, dude, have you not, like, him and Kevin Nash were like, I've never seen him. I'm like, what do you watch?
Anyway,
Like, Thomas been around forever.
don't be surprised also if Jay ends up on the same brand as the Bloodline as well. Again, even though he's in his singles push, I will not be surprised because eventually that's going to intersect because what's happened to Jimmy, eventually that's going to come around.
Are they
Because-
still doing the dumb crap that I don't like as far as the draft is like, oh, these weren't announced on screen. Are they still doing that?
I
shit?
hope not. We'll see.
'Cause that's dumb.
they might
That's
do
just
additional-
dumb. Just
I
have them
hate
show
that.
up.
Yeah, they might do that. Like it. They're gonna do like the top major picks for like, and then they'll be like, okay, these are the supplemental picks. Like, okay, whatever.
These were the ones that were drafted in catering, because it's all like the stuck in catering thing,
Yeah.
Type of thing. All right, that's the news. I know we typically do pay-per-views. Let's do Dynasty into, and let's save the AEW for last today because AEW,
Yeah.
Dynamite was the biggest talking point of wrestling.
Yeah.
This week, on that. So let's do SmackDown first.
Yeah, this will be quick. All right, here we go with a recap of last week's episode of Friday Night SmackDown. Show opened with the number one contenders match when we'll face Cody Rhodes for the WWE title Backlash. Rematch from WrestleMania, AJ Styles versus LA Knight. Good stuff again for both these guys. But this time AJ gets the win with the phenomenal forearm. And we'll face Cody at Backlash. It should be quite the match. Sikoa, now dressed in a very nice suit, is with Heyman in the back, talking about what happened last week. He also asked Heyman if he knows where Kevin Owens is, foreshadowing for later. Nick Aldis and Triple H go to the ring and present Grayson Waller and Austin Theory with the new tag team title belts for them. They will be the WWE Tag Team Champions. Very cool style for the belts. Look like the old, very similar style to the old tag team title belts from the 80s and 90s. And they also dissed it, Triple H for heel heat. Then we had a 4-way tag match. Winner will get first crack at the new champions. The Street Profits, New Catch Republic, Legado del Fantasma, and Authors of Pain. Lots of chaos in this match as you expect. In the end, the Street Profits get the win. And so they will face Theory and Waller for the titles. Probably a Backlash, I assume. We'll find out. Heyman Solo are looking around for Kevin Owens, but in the ring, Solo shuts down Heyman once again, saying, "Are you done yet?" And the fans start chanting for "We want Roman," which I think is probably what they want. So Solo says that he had to lose a brother last week in order to gain a new member of the bloodline in Tama Tonga. And then Tonga comes out with a very bloody Kevin Owens, tosses him around, and they beat him down in the ring. Nick Aldis has to, of course, break this up. Afterwards, Nick Aldis drags Paul Heyman out to the parking lot to show him that Tama Tonga rammed Kevin Owens' car when he arrived to the arena to attack him. Heyman looks very shocked and appalled, and Aldis warns about repercussions if he doesn't get the new bloodline under control. Then we had a one-on-one match. It was Esquire versus Carlito. Santos win this one. I have a feeling Carlito is probably going to turn heel in the near future, but Damage Control was shown up in the Skybox to watch the title match between Bayley and Naomi in the main event, and Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair popped in next to them, much to their chagrin. And so we got to the main event, SmackDown Women's title, Bayley versus Naomi. Good match between the ladies, but in the end, it was interrupted by Tiffany Stratton ran in and attacked Bailey for cause of disqualification. Tiffany showed everyone why it's Tiffy time by beating down both Naomi and Bailey and then hitting them both with the prettiest moonsault ever to close out this week's episode of Friday Night Smackdown.
All right, I want to start with this solo that we've been expecting for quite some time.
This is the solo we wanted for a while.
This is the solo, but the only thing that sucked about it is it took a while to get here of him jobbing out.
Yes.
That's the only part. But
Yes.
we saw this solo, and I'm glad it took this time to get there because behind the scenes there were Roman, Jay, his brothers, like little brothers, not just because of the bloodline, like literal, but and Paul are working with him in his mic work and stuff like that, and his character work and all those things. And it finally was like, all right, it's your time, Solo. Do the thing. Don't F this up. So far, it is exactly what I was expecting this type of character to be. And we were like, remember last week, we were like, what are they going to do with Kevin Owens? Beat the living hell out of him. That's what they're going to do.
It's like Kevin Owens is good at taking a bloody beat down.
Yes. But so far, dude, I'm loving this new Solo.
The suit man! It's like he's going full mafia. I love it.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for him to come out to like a bloodline, like Godfather s theme. But with the way whoever's in charge of theme music, there've been a lot of people online just making fun of them, and they're terrible. This is the worst. Whoever they have in charge of it, because it went Jim Johnson, who was the goat of all goats, to CTO or CSO or whatever it was, who were fun, who were great. They did the Glorious stuff, and they did AJ Styles. They did like a bunch of really good stuff. And this one is just the people that are doing the new theme songs are just like, say the thing, and then we're gonna play some random thing that doesn't on that. Anyway, long story short, Solo and Tomo work.
Yeah. No, it's like they are a scary, dangerous pair, and I love that Heyman is completely intimidated into towing the line right now because he just doesn't know what to do. I think he should be able to replace his phone and eventually tell Roman. It's like, of course, Roman knows what's going on, so it's like it'd be stupid. But I just love how he's just cutting Heyman off. I'm not like, no, I'm tired of you running your mouth, Heyman. It's like, you're doing what I say now, bitch. And also Nick Aldis wording Heyman. It's like, this is getting out of hand. You better get things under control or else. So yeah, this stuff, Bloodline 2.0 is off to a great start. Can't wait to see where it's going to go next.
Yeah, we're done with the game 1 of the World Series. We're on game 2, basically at this point, and I'm liking it so far. AJ and LA went exactly what we wanted. AJ and Cody, give it to me now.
That's going to be a great match at Backlash.
It's going to be a great match. One day, every time LA does that freaking basically box jump to the top rope, I just wince. I'm like, please make it.
I'm very interested to see what AJ and Cody are going to say to each other because they're doing the contract signing tomorrow night. So I will not be surprised if Bullet Club is brought up a couple times. It's like, because under Vince that would never happen. But with Triple H does not mind at all. So
I just don't think they're going to do that. But you just never know with Cody.
You never know.
Cody being the guy, kind of with Roman. Once he became the guy, and Paul Heyman, basically, they were protected. So
were Cody
Vince
and AJ
really
in Bullet Club at the same time or no?
No, they never were.
Okay,
they never were.
It's like they're just both former Bullet Club.
AJ was already in WWE because he came in WWE 2016.
Yeah.
So AJ was already in the WWE by the time. I think even by the time, because I think Cody went indie in like 2018. You can look that up. But I think he went indie in 2018 when he left with the Stardust stuff. No, they were never in Bullet Club. And he could use the whole like
They weren't there at the same time. They're just both
right. And I mean, yes, they could probably do the thing. They can probably, because Cody always does like the smart remarks.
Yeah.
Of like, okay, this could work for the people who keep up with wrestling, but then you also have to bring it back. So it could work. It'd be cool if they did. I'm putting it at like 40% that they're going to bring it to Bullet Club.
They're going to talk about a lot, but it might come up. So I'll be surprised if Bullet Club is brought up.
Yeah. The Bullet Club has just been so ingrained in the wrestling business for the past few years. With it, which is crazy. But I was surprised the Profits beat New Catch, but at this point, the tag team division is so good that they could just trade wins and then someone would win the
Street
tag.
Profits are a credible tag team to throw up against Waller and Theory for their first title defense. So it wasn't surprising. I think New Quarter Catch was going to get their time eventually. And of course,
what is Occam and Razor doing back on SmackDown? I thought they were NXT.
Who knows? It seems like Final Testament's going to be around NXT for a while, so I won't be surprised if Daryl announces like that they've been drafted to NXT.
Right. It's just like the last half of this card. I was like, this is cool, but with the draft coming up, what are we going to do here?
Yeah. So, it's like there's only going to do so much with the draft coming up. So, but it still is a decent show. I like that Tiffany got good heel heat for messing up the Naomi Bailey match and laying them both out. It's like it's her time, baby.
I mean, like you're saying, it's just like Karrion always says TikTok, because I love the way they are booking Tiffany.
They're booking her very strong.
She's
they're showing that
they're booking her very strong, but she's not like, she's great, push her to the main event, but yet not destroying her. They're booking her really well. Of like, yes, she will show her shit.
Yeah.
She's really good. I mean, yes, her mic skills are not at the level of Bailey or Bianca.
She's getting there. It's
just hard with me with the prissy. Girl, we've done with that character. Like Chelsea Green does that the best.
And her catchphrases are getting over, like Tiffy Time and Toodles. It just things like that.
Yeah. It just what we talk about. I mean, Tiff. It's only a matter of time. Like she is the shit.
She's gonna hold a women's championship.
She's gonna be a 7-time women's champion.
Actually, a lot of people are saying she's one of the favorites to win the women's Money in the Bank, and I would not be surprised if she does.
No,
because that would be perfect for her, because she could carry around and have it all be like look like a Versace case, and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
She could totally rock the Money in the Bank thing. It's like I could totally see her winning Money in the Bank.
Yeah. So, no. Tiffany was made for Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
With her stuff. But yeah, do we think we're going to get probably a triple threat at Backlash, I guess, with those three?
Most likely.
Which I'm glad for my Naomi. I mean,
It's just that Naomi's going to do the job, because they're not going to have
Hell yeah. She's going to do the job.
They obviously show that they're doing this because they're showing that they believe that Tiffany is on the main event level for it to be at the top of the women's division. Yeah. And that's good.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, I like the car wreck stuff and the solo stuff, and then AJ LA Knight. It didn't hurt either one of them, but yeah, you weren't going to put LA against Cody. That makes sense. AJ
LA Knight
versus
could definitely
Cody.
Use a change of venue. I think I will not be surprised.
LA's going to Raw. LA needs to go to Raw.
Yeah,
because he can go into that total sense. He can go against Damian and all that stuff. With that, so yeah, no, LA's going to Raw, which is fine.
Because otherwise he's not going to really. He doesn't have that much of a ceiling outside of like the U.S. title, because they're not going to throw him against Cody, because they're not going to do a babyface. They're not going to split the fans because of how much they both love Cody and LA Knight. They'd be stupid to do that. So it's like, well, Cody's champion. The best thing he can do would be to get like the U.S. title, and it's like, yeah, that'd be kind of cool, but it's like he should be at main event level with how old he is. So it's
and especially with Damian Priest having the title, I'm like, dude, LA Knight, Jey Uso, all them, just like,
yeah.
Even though Jey Uso, I don't think he's going to be on Raw anymore.
Oh no, no. That's why I'm like I'm with people thinking Jacob Fatu screws Jay out of his title shot at Backlash.
Yeah.
As part of to further the bloodline storyline.
All right, let's do Raw, and then I'll give my Jacob Fatu situation.
Mm-hmm.
Which is crazy that Jacob Fatu is going to go right to the main roster and not do NXT.
Yep.
From the Indies. The Tama Tonga made sense, people. Okay, because Tama's been doing this forever.
Yeah, he's been around for a long time.
Jacob Fatu has not been around forever.
He does not see. He is well seasoned. He's a well seasoned veteran. He does not need seasoning in it.
He's a grizzled young vet.
Yeah.
All right, let's do Raw.
All right, here's what happened on this week's episode of Monday Night Raw. The show opened with Michael Cole and Pat McAfee announcing that the Women's Battle Royal to determine the new Women's World Champion due to Rhea Ripley having to vacate the title due to injury will be the main event. Jey Uso kicked things off by cutting a promo ring about facing Damian Priest at Backlash for the World Heavyweight Championship. Damian Priest came out and responded, saying about how that they talked about, like, that they were both next, but Priest is like, no, I was next first. I've seen him kind of babyface, but went back to being a little bit of heelish. While they were exchanging words, Jay McDonough tried to come in and attack Jay. That caused to Priest eating a super kick from Jey Uso, leaving him very unhappy with JD. Then we had our first match of the evening, the World Tag Team titles. Awesome Truth defending against DIY. Awesome Truth came out on top in this match. We had definitely behind him. After the match, Johnny shook their hands, but Tommaso Ciampa did not want to. David Priest chewed out Jay McDonough for the screw up in the back. Then Dominic Mysterio came in, realizing that he had been injured, and that due to that, Santos Escobar volunteered to take his place in a tag match they were doing later this evening. And Dominic Mysterio is apparently legit hurt. Gunther, the now former longest reigning Intercontinental Champion of all time, came out with Imperium, cut a promo, talking about how he elevated the Intercontinental title to a place it had never been before, and that put a target on his back. But now that he's no longer champion, he feels the weight has been lifted off his back. And he thanks Sami Zayn for basically allowing him to go from being the hunted to back once again being a hunter. And since it's a new era and a King of the Ring tournament's coming up, he said that he is going to enter himself into the tournament and win it. That brought out the New Day. Xavier Woods, of course, being King of the Ring fan and a former King of the Ring winner, took umbrage of that, saying that he was going to become a two-time King of the Ring winner. That led to arguments between the two, and that led to Kaiser and Giovanni taking on New Day. New Day won this one. And then something very interesting happened in the match where it looked like Kaiser was consoling Giovanni Vinci, but just as they were about to leave, he turned on Vinci, attacked him, beat the crap out of him, and then hit the running dropkick move on the steel steps they did on Kofi Monk's back to injure him. As he went into the back, Gunther just smiled in approval. So Giovanni Vinci has been ejected from Imperium. Then we had Drew McIntyre talking about kind of promo, talking about CM Punk and everything that's going on. He declares himself to be in the King of the Ring tournament as well. And that brought out Sheamus to respond, and he called Drew out for blaming everybody for all his recent failures and everything. And I was also saying, you got beat up by a one-armed CM Punk. McIntyre fired back, saying that Sheamus now looks like he's doing burger after burger instead of banger after banger. Sheamus responded, I can't lose the weight, but you can't lose stupid. So they quite words, but McIntyre said that he's doesn't want to fight Sheamus. He still wants to be friends with him, and in fact, he'll have his back and watch his match against Shinsuke Nakamura. And when she did, and Sheamus picked up the victory with the Bro Kick. Then we had Sami Zayn getting interviewed in the back, and with Kath Kelly, and he ends up getting jumped and attacked by Bronson Reed, setting up another challenger besides Chad Gable gunning for him. Sami's got his work cut out for him. Speaking of Chad Gable, he and the Alpha Academy came out, cut a promo. Gable justifying his heel turn, saying that Sami Zayn going to celebrate with his wife was rubbing everything in his failure in his face, and he did what he had, and he was justified. And then he completely dressed down the failures of the rest of the Alpha Academy members, saying how terrible they've been, calling Maxine being dumb, and that Otis is a huge disappointment. And said from now on, their focus is going to be on Chad Gable winning the Intercontinental title, and they're going to help him do it by any means necessary. Ricochet teamed up with Andrade to take on JD McDonough and Santos Escobar. Andrade finished off JG to pick up the victory. Post-match, Damian Priest came out, attacking both Ricochet and Andrade and laying them both out, saying he doesn't need McDonough and Escobar, they need him. Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell were about to be interviewed when all of a sudden a fight broke out in the back between Nia Jax and Liv Morgan ahead of the Battle Royal. Becky Lynch came by and borrowed the microphone, cut a promo on the way to the ring, turned to stop to offer some encouragement and a pep talk to Maxine Dupree, who was chatting with Ivy now. And then Becky said she was about to tell Rhea Ripley to watch because she's about to go win the title, and she'll be waiting for Rhea when she comes back from injury. So we got the main event. Battle Royal determined the new World Heavyweight Champion with the title vacant. Besides Becky Lynch, we had Indy Hartwell, Candice LeRae, Shayna Baszler, Nia Jax, Liv Morgan, Zoe Stark, Natalya, Kaden Carter, Katana Chance, Piper Niven, Chelsea Green, Ivan Allen, Maxine Dupree. They gave this match a lot of time. In the end, no surprise, it came down to most three likely candidates to win the title: Nia Jax, Liv Morgan, and Becky Lynch. Becky was taken out of the match for a while. She took out Piper Niven, and Piper Niven got pissed and put her through the announce table. And then Nia Jax took Piper Niven, and Samoa dropped her on top of Becky to put them both through the table. Becky was able to recover, get in the ring. Liv and Becky joined forces long enough to take Nia Jax out of the equation. So it was down to Becky and Liv. They fought on the ring apron. Liv looked like she was going to hit, but Becky blocked Oblivion and then hit the manhandle slam, dropping her right on the apron and knocking her out of the match to win. Becky Lynch, the man, is now the new Women's World Heavyweight Champion, becoming a 7-time Women's Champion in the process in WWE. So that's all that happened on this week's episode of Monday Night Raw.
All right. I will start with the divisiveness of the internet on that last match.
Yes, let's, because I go ahead. Because I have plenty to say on that.
Okay, so my opinion on it, because people are like calling Becky Lynch Hogan, stuff like that. Becky was not supposed to be here. She was actually going to take a break with her husband, visit her daughter, but unfortunately, Rhea got injured. We'll let you know, Liv was not supposed to win this quickly. This was supposed to be a build to Backlash. Whether or not Liv beat Rhea, which still wouldn't have made sense, but it was kind of a break glass in case of emergency. Let's give it to Becky, because you're not going to put the belt on Liv that quickly, because no one's going to buy Liv as champion at this point. So put the belt on Becky. Might as well. This, because Becky, if you looked at the timeline, at no point did Becky was like, yeah, I'm ready to come back. No, it was literally like the week of, Becky was like, oh, by the way, I'm going to be back on Raw.
Well, she's been, because that was the rumor, but she's like taking shots at that on social media that, oh, I'm on vacation. Oh, I'll see you on the UK tour. You know, it's like, so she wasn't really going home. She was working. It's like the one who's home is Seth, because he's rehabbing from the knee surgery. So, but yeah, the reaction kind of like pissed me off. The Becky Hogan label and some other bullshit. It's like, okay,
Becky put over Rhea.
yeah.
Did you not see WrestleMania, people?
And also, did you see the fans' reaction to her winning? And when she went in the crowd, you see all the young kids and girls like swarming Becky. It's like it's like the internet is not indicative of the entire WWE fan base. It's like Becky is still a very beloved and very popular wrestler in WWE, especially to young girls and kids. It's like, they look up to her because of what she's been able to accomplish. It's like she was not meant to be like the next big thing. She fucking fought her way to get to that point, and it's like things ended up working out. It's like it's like she was considered the fourth horsewoman when they came out of NXT. Everyone was looking at Charlotte and Sasha and Bayley. It's like, oh yeah, it's like, and then there's Becky. It's like
this is a pro Becky podcast / channel. Okay, me and if you want someone to give Becky slander, it ain't gonna be us two.
No, so look. Also, think about this. Would it benefit Nia or Liv to win the vacant title in a battle royal?
Sure, but it doesn't have the impact.
No, it doesn't have the impact. Becky can take that because she's been around long enough. She can win that, and it doesn't feel like it's like okay. Maybe for some people, obviously, but it's like she's still one of the most popular people there. It's like, really. And also, if they want to eventually put the title in Liv, what better way? And if you like Bayley, Becky believes in building up the other women in the women's division. I mean, look what happened. Look what she did before she went out there. When she was cutting a promo, she stopped. She walked back.
That was my note of her putting over Maxine. Yes, exactly. Thank you for that. I literally have a note of like Becky put over Maxine in that, which the production still, hats off. Those wonders that they're doing right now are amazing. But yes, her putting over Maxine.
Yeah. It's like, Bayley, of course, gets a lot of attention and credit for what she's done trying to build the women's division with damage control and everything. But Becky's also done the same thing. She's more willing to put Rhea. She put Rhea over huge at WrestleMania. And it's like, because it's like at this point in her career, yeah, she's done. Yeah, if she's gonna win the title, okay, fine. But it's not like she needs it. It's because they know that she is over, and they trust her to help carry the division while Rhea's out.
Yeah.
So how long she's gonna hold the title, who knows? Maybe she might drop it to Liv in the near future. It's like, and that will be a big win for Liv to beat Becky. It's like to win the title. Because when Rhea comes back, don't be surprised. It's either Becky or Rhea or Liv is going to have the title,
right?
And and of course that sets things perfectly up for Rhea, because of their history. So it's like, same with Nia. It's like Nia's done a great job. It's like I wouldn't have been upset if Becky didn't win, or if they picked Nia or Liv. But I understand why they put it on Becky right now. It's like, she's a workhorse. She's popular. She's over. She's a friggin' New York Times bestseller, ladies and gentlemen. It's like her autobiography that came out, her memoir is doing really well. It's like, so
one of our new segments is going to be Justin gives a book review.
Yeah, I mean, she was invited to the White House by the president. I mean, like it's like,
no, she is the man for a reason.
Yeah,
but yeah, no, this was not. No one expected Rhea to.
No, Rhea getting injured was a fluke thing that really sucks and threw probably a monkey wrench in their plans for the next several months. It's like, and that's what happens. Look what happened with WrestleMania. It was like, oh man, we're gonna have Seth versus CM Punk. We're gonna Cody Roman, and all of a sudden, wait a minute, it's Roman Rock. Oh my God, Seth's hurt. CM Punk's hurt. Oh fuck, what's gonna? Oh, but hey, it ended up working out.
Yeah.
So
even
it's like
Vince McMahon's dumbass booking of having Roman go over Cody ended up working out at the end. You asshole.
Yeah.
But it did work out for the better because we got the end game stuff. But yeah, no, just where people were just like calling her like Hulk Hogan, like she didn't land on Rhea getting injured. And why would you put? And I'm a big Liv guy. Everyone, I'm a big Liv guy. I Liv
she's
is going to
not the
be
person who's going to politic backstage like, yo, no, you should. It's like, gee, brother, I think I should be the champion.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I got the stroke. It's like,
no,
that's not
it's
who
just,
Becky is and what she has.
No.
Jesus.
Again, too, Becky had to fight her ass off to even get into the position. It took her getting a concussion and a broken fucking nose in the middle of the ring because of a botch punch by Nia Jax that people actually bought into her.
She was already really over at that point with
but that really put her over.
But that accident shot her to the stratosphere with the fan base. And
she puts on banger after banger after banger.
She works her ass off.
Yeah.
It's like she's, in fact, I'd say like she's got an even better ring over the last couple of years, especially like 2 years when she's been excellent in the ring ever since she came back from having her daughter in 2021. She put on banger matches with Bianca. That feud with Trish, even though it went on way too long and was like, oh my God, we need to end this. Their steel cage match at SummerSlam was kick ass.
Right.
Both her and Trish have talked about how they're very proud of that match. Is like
they should be. It was really good, and we were not looking forward to it because we thought it was stale as hell.
Yeah,
and they were. That was. I think that. Well, yeah. What pay per view was that?
That was SummerSlam. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like that. Didn't we say like that was like either the best or top two matches of the night?
SummerSlam, but
SummerSlam was kind of underwhelming.
Yeah.
But yeah, everyone get the frick off your high horse about her being Hogan and like putting her over. Would you have bought Liv as a champion at this point? No. No one ever buys Nia anymore. So when it happens, you have to at least give a workhorse that you can believe deserves to be champion, even though Liv's had the belt before.
Yeah.
But it just wasn't the time. And we all knew it wasn't the time. Even as much as I wanted it, I'm like, it just makes, when you take a step back and take a deep breath, I'm like, why wouldn't you give it to Becky at this point to get over the situation that you're in as far as the booking? And you could probably do a triple threat between Naomi, Liv, and Becky at Backlash or whatever they want to do. It depends on the draft, but you're not going to put, wherever Liv goes, but Liv and Rhea need to meet. That's the thing at the end of the day.
Yeah.
On that. So, yeah. All right.
Yeah. So, I love Becky. Abby, it's like, it shows the trust that Triple H and everybody has in her, that he's like, that she's the right person to help carry the vision for the time being while Rhea's out. And she might put someone else over before Rhea gets back. It's like, we don't know. Look, that was the whole point of her NXT run, was to help build it. She boosted Tiffany and Lyra Valkyria at the same time with that NXT run, putting both of them over big time. Especially when Lyra beat her for the title. That was huge. It's like...
the four horsewomen... Charlotte, as she got... like, the only time Charlotte really got, like, the Hulk Hogan-esque type stuff was between her and the other four horsewomen.
Yeah.
That was the only time that she got, like, Hulk Hogan-esque. Sasha, she collected her paycheck. But, she still did the jobs when she had to. Like, none of these four women are like, I am that bitch type situation. Like, that, it just never came across as that. Charlotte was kind of there. Sasha as a, and she was underutilized. That's why she left the company. Charlotte was the only one that they booked like that, and but when you and people were always giving her crap because it was a nepotism. Bull crap. All four of them are still of why we love women's wrestling right now.
Yeah,
it's because of those four.
Yeah, So yeah, no, I unfortunately I understand why they're complaining, but it's like they're not seeing the bigger picture.
It's just people want to complain to complain.
Yeah. Anyway, let's get the rest of the show.
Right. Does Vinci need to look at the indie scene at this point?
You know, this one really.
Where else are you going to go with them?
They teased this for like months that something like this was going to happen, and then it kind of dropped away just a few months ago, just around the turn of the year, and now all of a sudden this comes back again out of nowhere. Especially when the tag division just got, with all the great tag teams they got on both shows right now, and the new title belts, the renewed focus on the tag team wrestling now that Vince is gone, they split in period because Kaiser and Giovanni have been an excellent tag team for a long time. So this really surprised me that they decided to do this split.
Kaiser is that they've been booking Kaiser really well.
I think they see. I think they see the big single star potential in Kaiser.
It has nothing to do with Vinci. It has everything to do with Kaiser.
That's why. Yeah, I think you're right.
That's why I'm saying, like, Giovanni. We saw him against, what was it, Ricochet? Who was it, Ricochet?
He's really damn good in the ring too.
He's really good. No, it was JD Madonna. But like, I remember Giovanni like doing the singles match. I'm like, damn, this guy's really good. No, that was the chest slap where Vinci had like that chest slap. Like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Giovanni, but I'm just worried about him because he hasn't.
Yeah.
He never gets a mic. He's just a wrestler, and it's like one of those like pick him out of a lineup. It's like, oh, he looks like that creator wrestler, silhouette. Like that's what he is, and a good in-ring wrestler. And we've talked about it. Just bet he's a Meltzer. Meltzer loves him because he's good in the ring. You have to have a little bit more than that. And I'm just worried about him because he's been great with Imperium, but by himself, I'm worried about him because they've never given him the mic.
And that's a valid concern. Yeah, we're just gonna have to see where this goes. Also, is Imperium just going to be Gunther and Kaiser, or are they going to find a replacement for Giovanni? That's good.
I think they're not going to be Imperium anymore. I think Gunther is going to go to SmackDown, and Kaiser is going to stay on Raw, and he's going to do.
They might still be allies, but yeah, I think like the Imperium as a group may be over, which is kind of sad because. That it's like they were awesome.
Well, once Gunther lost the Intercontinental, and he's going to go for the big belt, and Kaiser is
eventually
taking that next step, and you can buy him as that next step.
He's probably going to win King of the Ring.
And plus, with him and Tiffy in a relationship, and they're flirting about.
I was just about to bring that up.
Them doing like some reality show stuff, so that is overtaking that. Yeah. So Kaiser's taking that next step and being legit single star.
Yeah,
he's getting that Jey Uso. Like, I can see it.
It's like I think they see that because I mean, not too long ago, earlier this year, they did like a whole vignette promo putting over Kaiser, especially after when he did that same running kick into the steps on Kofi to injure him during the feud with New Day. So yeah, and it's like I was going to bring up. It's like for those who don't know, his girlfriend is Tiffany Stratton. So like they've been a couple apparently for a while. So it's like
I broke the news to Justin on this show.
No, I've known it for a while. It's like I was going to bring it up too.
But no, I just remember that one time I was like, hey, one of our shows.
They've been shown on like red carpet events together.
Yeah, yeah. So, but yes, that because of Bianca and help me out.
Jade.
Who?
What?
No, they're the couple. Bianca and
Montez.
Yeah. And because their reality show is actually doing really well, so they're like, all right,
really? No.
Yeah, it's doing really well.
I don't have Hulu.
Obviously, it's scripted as hell, but still, it's doing really well. Because they tried to do the Mr. and Mrs. with the Miz and Maurice, and it was all that stuff is just kind of whatever. But apparently, Bianca and Montez is going over really well. And so Tiffany was I just saw something on Twitter or something like that, or X or whatever you want to call it. And then she was talking about that. She was like, yeah, they were talking she wants to stick with wrestling, but she would be open to like doing something with her and Kaiser as far as like the reality show stuff. And that was like this week that I saw that. So, and she wouldn't say that unless they were probably looking into it on that. But no, Kaiser is, and the way they're booking him, and he's again, and like it really started, like you said, with the New Day stuff, where you really saw that dark side of Kaiser, and Kaiser always had that really good charisma and stuff like that when he would do it, but he wasn't just some random lackey. He was the right hand man to Gunther, much less. I mean, they basically like are inseparable on that. Like they came up together. But Kaiser's, he's in. There's a reason. I just feel bad for Giovanni because he's been putting in. He's a really solid worker. Really solid worker. On that. Anything about that before we move on to some other? What's the next thing you want to talk about on Raw?
Let's see.
Typically, I bring it up, but I'm just gonna let you do it. You get the next one.
Drew McIntyre, Sheamus.
Okay.
This was fantastic stuff,
dude. You could just tell when best friends like rib on each other.
Yeah.
Like just like it's like the burger after burger.
What an arm! CM Punk kicked your arse.
Yeah, kicked your arse.
You look like you've gone from banger after banger to burger after
burger, and then can't fix stupid and all that other stuff like these. You could just tell these two were just having the time of their life out there, just rib, because it's like you're not friends if you don't talk shit to each other type thing, and these two were just. They couldn't hold their smile off their face either, through the whole thing.
Because it's like those two go way back.
Because they were like, all right, let's go out and talk shit to each other. Do you want to go over it? And they're like, no, I'm just gonna get your reaction because I got something for you, bro.
Mm-hmm.
No,
that was great stuff between those two. Let's see. Yeah, interesting. The disintegration of Judgment Day is accelerating with Real.
Yeah, I don't like it. And then Dom's hurt.
And what's I think that that stare down between Dominic Liv, I think something's going to happen.
Because Rhea's going face.
Yeah. What better way to turn her face than Dom leaving mommy for Liv?
Yeah, and then Dom with the mustache looking just like Eddie Guerrero with that mullet.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of crazy.
No. If you want to turn her face, have Dom dump her for Liv.
All right. So
because then she'll want to then she will like riptide his ass to a Mega Pop. And it'll fuel the feud with Liv because, because she's gonna go crazy because it's like first she puts her on the shelf, costs her the title, then she steals Dom from her. On top of that, she takes everything from her.
Mm-hmm. It's a revenge tour.
It's Liv's revenge, and then it will flip over, and Rhea will come back for her revenge.
Yeah, no, it's good stuff there. I like Jay's mic work this week.
I thought it was some of the best he's done in a bit. Yeah. Oh, speaking of Jay, funny thing, he came out and apologized for how bad him and Jimmy's match at WrestleMania was.
Yeah, he did. He
said he admitted they blew it.
Yeah. And he also said he was like and he also admitted that Roman Reigns is always the tribal chief because he's laying those sprinkles on what they're trying to do. But I will say this. At first I was like when Damian Priest and Jay like did the face to face, I was like, okay, I'm with it, but also this is kind of very mid card. And then once they finally started talking, I'm like, they sold it. They did very well in selling it. I don't know what you thought about it, but I thought they did very well in selling it. But it was kind of very mid card at first because they just haven't. Damian Priest hasn't been champion for very long, and he also wasn't like oh my God, Damian Priest won out of nowhere. He kind of was that way, but still, he was never really in the main event scene, and he just had the Money in the Bank. on it. So, and then the last thing I want to say, you know how Andrade was tired of being AEW because they had nothing for him. He was kind of sitting there in the middle.
Yeah.
And then he comes to WE and they have nothing for him. He kind of sits there in the middle.
That's why I hope the draft will help freshen things up for him.
It just sucks. He's so freaking good. And he's just such a freaking good wrestler.
Yeah.
And the only time it worked was
I
with
think it's
him.
just going to take some time. I'm sure that hopefully they'll come up with something. It's like, I trust Triple H booking more than Tony Khan at this point. You know, so it's like,
it's been the same booking for him.
We'll see. I'm not giving up on it yet. It's like he's only been back for a little bit. It's only been a few months, so it's like. But yeah, he needs to change the scenery.
Do you expect Otis to follow Chad?
I don't know. It could go either way. He could go back to being heel, or he could stay babyface and reject Gable. We'll see.
I think he goes heel, just because typically when someone tells you that you look up to that you're a disappointment, then it means you step up to get their approval.
I think Maxine and Tozawa are going to get exited because
I don't think that's going to happen. I think the only person that you're going to have is Otis.
They're going to go back to being heels again.
Yeah, you're going to have Chad and Otis being the heater, and then I guess you'll have the Creed brothers. They keep rumoring that, but I don't know. I guess that makes sense, like, because the Creed brothers are really good in the ring, but they just are just in-ring workers at this point. Like, there's no character work other than them just being amazing. Like, I'm not worried about them, but I'm just saying, like, as far as storyline and the character work type of it, like, you're gonna have a heater in Otis, and then I don't. What would I saw that rumor. What would you do with the Creed brothers if they went with Gable? Like, do you really think that's going to help them?
I'm wondering what's going on with DIY. Now I'm a little concerned with the Ciampa thing.
Yeah. Your thoughts on that? Because I'm gonna leave the floor to you on that. Those are your boys, and I was like, what? They're gonna split DIY this early?
Again, why are you splitting up tag teams when the tag division is really loaded? Please, that really scratched my head.
I didn't get it.
I don't get it.
I don't get it at all. But no, I mean, still, we got a lot.
This was an okay episode of Raw. It was
an okay episode of SmackDown and Raw. It wasn't.
They weren't. It's because of the draft. It's because of the draft. They're just
right.
They're not doing any. They're just like doing small little things. Some things are getting further that are good, but mostly they're kind of just they're taking it a little slow, not doing anything major outside of what's going to happen at pay-per-view because of the draft. After the draft, things are going to go back into overdrive. So
that's the one thing I will criticize about Triple H is because he gives us these amazing shows. And then like he does what he needs to do. He'll do like these amazing shows, and then like 2 weeks we're just like, all right, we'll do a little bit of here, a little bit of there, but we're not going to give you our main course yet. We're still going to give you some some salad, some garlic bread, type of thing. Doesn't mean that we don't like salad and garlic bread. It's just we're so used to having prime rib, and once we have a taste of prime rib, we want it every night. And it's just hard to do when you're booking like that. So I understand it. So I'll still, but compared to what it was in the past, for sure. But yeah, this past 2 episodes of SmackDown and Raw were like,
all right,
fine. The solo stuff, great. The Gunther stuff, was great.
Yep.
The Becky Lynch,
promo was solid. Yeah. So. It's. I'll be glad when the draft is over, and after the pay-per-view, things will. We'll get things revved up again.
Yeah, there was nothing on these shows that were like, what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah, nothing like really outright bad. More just like, I don't know where this is going.
Right.
We'll see.
All right. Well, let's
So-
move to NXT, and then we'll end with
Spring Breaking.
Yeah. I guess this one guy was really good at the end of it that Meltzer didn't like.
And a certain lady at the open show.
What? Her? Ooh, I'm intrigued. Who was that?
Gee. All right. Here's what happened on this week's episode. NXT, week 1 of the 2-part Spring Breaking special event. Ava was chatting with both Nick Aldis and Adam Pearce in the back, talking about the upcoming draft. And then we went to the opening match, NXT Women's Title match, as Roxanne Perez defended against both Lyra Valkyria and Tatum Paxley in a triple threat. This was a fantastic match. These ladies really cooked this one. Fans are really into it. Tatum Paxley really impressed, hitting a 450 splash onto Lyra. But in the end, after she hit the 450 on Lyra, Roxanne snuck in and rolled up Paxley to pick up the victory and retain the title. Various former NXT stars that are on the main roster were shown coming to watch the show and giving predictions for the main event between Ilya and Trick. Thea Hill's back talking about can't wait to get her hands on Jacy Jayne next week. Jada Parker talked some smack to Fallon Henley, and that got into a brawl, which led to a match between the two. Then we had a 6-man tag, the D'Angelo family taking on the No Quarter Catch crew. Tony D planted Dempsey with Spinebuster to pick up the victory. Tony D making clear he wants to come for the Heritage Cup. Barry Corbin was doing a photo shoot when Lex King came in, offered him a farewell package. Corbin was like, I'm not going anywhere yet. And this led to a match between the two later that evening. Jada Parker versus Fallon Henley came up next, and Jada Parker of OTM picked up the victory. Jacy Jayne cut a promo on Thea Hale saying that next week she's going to end Thea Hale once and for all and chided her for being ungrateful for everything Jacy did for her. Ava had a contract signing between Natalia, backed up by Carmen Petrovic, and Lola Vice for their underground match for next week's episode of Spring Breakin'. Natalia promised she was going to break Lola's neck. Well, Vice promised to break Natty's neck. And then she revealed that she had a surprise trainer to prepare for the match. Shayna Baszler, former NXT Women's Champion, coming up to be quite the reaction. And that led to a brawl between the heels and the babyfaces. A video was shown of Strong Spears coming to Ridge Holland outside the building, encouraging him to give in to his violence, a.k.a. give in to the dark side. Karrion Kross and the Final Testament cut a big promo saying that they were come back to NXT to bring things back the way they used to be. And AOP said that they were coming for the tag team titles and were going to take out Nathan Frazier and Axiom. Nathan Frazier cut a promo in the back responding, "You ready?" Good Brothers kind of mocked them, getting tired of other teams coming in trying to take the tag titles. Obviously, they're still there. Then we had a no DQ match, beach brawl, basically. Soul Rucka taking on Blair Davenport. Soul Rucka hit the Soul Snatcher finisher off the middle rope in a dope move to finish off Blair Davenport, pick up the victory. Trick was talking to his mom on the phone, and then Johnny Gargano came in and gave Trick a little bit of pep talk ahead of the main event. Then we had Baron Corbin taking on Lexis King. Lexis King hit Corbin with the coronation to pick up the victory. And then we had more hype for the main event. And then here it was. NXT title match. Ilya Dragunov defending against Trick Williams. Excellent match between these two. Crowd was really hot for this. They really wanted Trick, pulling for Trick to win. And they hit each other really hard. Even Trick put Ilya for the announce desk. And that still wasn't enough to put away. In the end, they both went for their finishers from each corner. But this time, Trick was able to hit the running knee first. And the trick shot was enough for him to pin Ilya Dragunov and become the new NXT champion. The crowd went nuts. And Trick went into the crowd to celebrate with them to close out the show. So that's all that happened on this week's episode of NXT Part 1 of Spring Break-In.
I'm a little nervous.
Okay, explain. About what?
Because Sol Roca is stepping up, and
Yes, she is.
She's like some mic work away from like being at my girl's level.
She's getting over. She's got a badass finisher. It's like when she works on the mic skills, she's going to be a complete package.
Yeah, that's why I'm worried because
when she did her finisher off the middle rope, I was like, dude, it's like that was dope.
It
was pretty badass it was badass when she did a corner, but doing off the middle rope like out of nowhere, it's like dang.
It's kind of if Sean doesn't book Jada and Soul for the NXT North American Women's Championship,
they're definitely high. It's like that's why I said it's like I would not be like it's like Soul Work and Thea Hero. I like my top 2 picks for winning the Women's North American title.
Every time I watch Soul in the ring, I'm like,
you
better watch it.
Her upside is getting higher. So
yeah.
And Jada Parker, they're definitely. It seemed like they were going to push her, and they kind of cooled off, but now it looks like they're re-pushing her again.
Her in-ring work is fine, but her charisma and stuff.
You got to work on that. She's really good. She's good in the ring. So it's like she worked like with Sol Roca. Just work on the mic skills.
Right. I mean, that's why you're in NXT.
Like, that's exactly
on that. But no, that's why I'm nervous. Just because like every time I watch this, every time Sol Roca is on, I'm like, I watch Sol Roca as much as I watch the Golden Goose, and I'm just like, crap. I'm nervous.
And the ladies fucking cooked that opening match, dude.
Yeah, they did.
Tatum Paxley really impressed me, man.
Yeah, that's right. That's right, Meltzer. Shut the fuck up about Tatum Paxley.
Yeah. Because we know
they cooked. Roxanne Perez was in it.
We know Roxanne and Lyra can cook, but man, Tatum Paxley brought it in that match. That 450 splash she did on Lyra, that was excellent.
Yeah, Tatum, like this is the best women's division in all of wrestling, bar none.
Yep.
I mean, just top to bottom, and that's obviously WWE the main roster would have the better women's division, but because they split them and they split them unevenly. Meanwhile, in NXT, you have a crap ton of solid women's division that you can sprawl out.
Yeah, and of course, Roxanne wasn't going to lose the title. Of course, she just won it. So, but
she's never going to lose the title. She's got to retire it.
She's going to start talking like Athena. Athena calls herself like the forever ROH Women's Champion because she's had the title for so long.
Just like give it to Billy Starks. That's what's going to happen. She's like, all right, I'm just done having to defend this. I'm just over this. I'm going to go I'm going to go for the AEW one. Here, Billy, you take it.
It was interesting that I figured Paxley would take the pinfall because it's like, they still have a lot. They still want to do some stuff with Lyra, and her and Paxley's beef is unfinished. So, they're going to get to that first. Paxley may eventually get a title shot with that, or maybe the women's North America. It's like I really hope they announce like brackets soon because I wanted to see this tournament get underway for the North American women's title. It's like let's get going because there's a lot of talented women that can get some more shine down at NXT. So yeah, it was nice to see Jada Parker. As like, I hope they're not losing faith in Fallon Henley. I was surprised that she. It wasn't gonna like I can't remember if there's. I think it wasn't like a completely clean, but she lost, so it's kind of like I was like kind of surprised, but we'll see. We had Corbin and Lexis King. That was interesting.
Boo!
It's like
as the lone Corbin fan, boo. No, Lexis King needed this rub.
Yeah,
he needed the rub.
Sure. I like the 6-man tag between the D'Angelo family and No Quarter Catch Crew.
Okay,
that was good. They're
explain to me how D'Angelo family is going to get over when they get to the main roster. That is my question with them.
That's my one question. If it's booked right, it could work. because it's like the fans like Tony D and the whole and the faction. They like it. They like it. So it's a matter if they book it properly, the main roster could probably work. Apparently they're implying. I don't know if they've said it outright, but it's like Tony D and them are implying that that they made Drew like go sleep with the fishes, like Luca Brasi.
Well, Drew Gulak made himself go sleep with the fishes.
Yeah, no, he dug his own grave.
Yeah, he dug his own grave on that one. But yeah, that's the one thing with the Angel family and their way that they're booked in NXT.
Mm-hmm.
That's and like Chase U, like that is an NXT faction. There's no way it's going to get over the main roster.
On the main roster.
Hell no, it is not. That is an NXT type of faction.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand why they were trying to break them up and all that stuff. But like the Angel family, it's kind of the same thing as like it's cartoony. It gets over on NXT. It will not get over in the main roster.
Yeah, they'd probably be at best. They'd end up like Alpha Academy has ended up.
And there's not. Tony D isn't a big enough personality to win over like Chad Gable.
Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. I definitely have those same concerns. It's like, I'm not sure. It could work. I guess it just depends on the booking. We'll just have to see.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't think the Dudleys would get over, and they're one of the greatest.
Apparently, Good Brothers are still in NXT. I was like, oh, okay, they are still.
Yeah,
in NXT.
That was weird.
Yeah, so we got Good Brothers and AOP in NXT right now. It's like that Nathan Frazier and Axiom got their work cut from. They got a lot of big beefy men come one.
It's so weird with Nathan with him and Axiom together, and like we're just like, oh, you know how like the one criticism we had about Vince's how much he hated tag teams and whatnot, but he just couldn't he realized that Edge and Christian and the Dudleys and like that like the golden era of tag teams.
Yeah,
those three.
Yeah, Edge and Christian, the Hardys, and the Dudleys.
Yeah, but he didn't like doing tag team wrestling because he had to pay two people.
That was like the first renaissance we had since because tag team wrestling when I grew up in the 80s and early 90s was so fucking dope. So many legendary tag teams.
The Rockers and the Midnight Express, Ollie and Anderson.
Yeah,
like all that stuff.
It was, it's like
the U.S. Express. Shout out.
Those three teams revived the tag division for the first time in quite a while in the early 2000s with the work they did with the ladders and then with TLC, But anyway, so yeah, it's gonna be very interesting. AOP is coming for Nathan and Axiom next week on the second part of Spring Breakin'. Yeah. So that's gonna be a big challenge for them, but don't see them losing titles just yet. It's like because that was a big win for them. So I'm wondering where Corbin's going to go with the draft. He's going to stay in NXT a little longer. I just miss the Wolf Dogs. I know they want to push Braun to the moon, and he deserves it. But I wouldn't mind to see some more Wolf Dogs actually get in the future.
I want the Wolf Dogs to be drafted to Raw and beat. I want the Wolf Dogs to have a run on Raw.
That would be awesome. So then we had Trick's big crowning moment in the main event. They did a good job building this. All the I liked all the people come back to NXT to watch the match. They made it feel like a big deal with like Johnny Gargano and the Creed brothers and everybody coming back to watch the match and giving their thoughts on it. And and that pep talk that Johnny gave to Trick. That's why I love Johnny wrestling. That's why I love that man. It's like that was so well done.
This is why like NXT exists is for this match is why NXT exists. This is why people that's why CW paid the money to have NXT.
Yeah.
And I hope that they realize don't change what you're doing. You're on CW because of what you're doing, not because of what they think you might do.
Yeah.
You're not getting the money because of potential. You're getting the money because of what you've earned. Sean.
Yeah.
So this match was the culmination. This match was the culmination of Ilya being the next Bryan Danielson.
Oh,
to me.
Oh yeah, I can totally see that.
And Trick being the next biggest superstar we've seen in quite some time because he has the look, he has the charisma. Is he the best in-ring worker? No.
He's getting
But
there.
that doesn't matter, as
Yeah.
you've known with my rant
And
last
that's
week.
why he's going to stay in NXT for a little longer.
Yes.
It's like to because it's like once he gets even better in the ring, look out, because it's like he's gotten so it's like him getting over is completely organic, and that's what's amazing about it.
Yep.
And it's like, man, I love Triple H and HBK showing like the camera literally shaking when
that gave me chills, dude. When I saw that crowd, literally shaking,
they went bonkers.
They went bonkers. No, Trick
props to Ilya Dragunov.
And I love the way they started the match too. Of like them like hugging and stuff, and then just start.
Yeah, no, I love that where they're
going at it
back and forth, and then they're like, "It's like, dude, yes, I really like you, but now let's kick it, now let's destroy each other." And then they went. I love that. That was a great moment.
No, but Ilya,
the table spot was dope.
Yes. This match was just
This is why I love NXT.
And also this is why if Ilya had just as much as Bryan Danielson, because he is so I love every match he does.
He's gonna cook on the main roster in Triple H. He's gonna cook. I can't wait to see where he's gonna go.
Dude is just like I said, he's very Bryan. He's very Bryan Danielson.
Yeah. You want to see how amazing he is? Go watch the matches he had against Gunther for the.
Oh, dude, him and Gunther.
Those are 5-star fucking masterpieces.
Oh, him and
the first one during the pandemic where he literally had to choke Ilya into unconsciousness in order to win because he refused to go down. And there was it's like there was blood was coming out of his mouth and everything. And then the rematch where he made Gunther tap out to win the NXT UK Championship in the Performance Center. It's like it's like he made Gunther tap. That's all I need to say.
What's Ilya's nickname?
The Mad Dragon.
Oh, surprisingly. He gets compared to who on your shirt? The American Dragon. Because that's because they have the same style. It's just Bryan paved the way.
Yeah. I'm excited to see what Ilya's going to do on the main roster.
And good news is he goes to Triple H, and I don't think Triple H is going to fuck this up.
If Vince was still in charge,
he would fuck
Ilya
it up.
And Carmelo would not have a chance in hell on the main roster. No, they would not.
He would love Trick,
probably,
but he's also
he'd be like, nah, too small.
Right. Oh yeah, for sure. Like Bryan, he couldn't resist Bryan.
No, it's like the yes movement would not be denied.
No, I was telling all my friends
just like we want Cody, Cody would not be denied.
No, and is that documentary still not come out on YouTube?
No, apparently it's not. Well, it's supposed to be on Peacock. I guess they're still ending it. I haven't heard any announcement that's coming out yet.
Oh well, but
I'm looking forward to that behind the scenes thing. I want to see it.
But hey, Meltzer, you're right.
Yeah,
Ilya is a better in-ring worker.
Yes, he is.
Than Trick.
Yes,
but you can't tell me that Trick is a bad wrestler.
No. He's gotten
that match was amazing. Now, yes, Ilya probably could have called that match.
Yep.
And we've seen Trick stumble. But guess what? Trick has the ring now.
Yeah.
It's Trick's organization.
Yep.
It's Trick's.
And there's a lot of good talented people that he can work with that help get him even more like Dijak, man. I want to see unless I kind of hope maybe Dijak gets drafted. I'd like to see him back on the main roster with this current gimmick. That's just me.
No,
but
I'd rather have Dijak and Trick. But
yeah. No, Dijak and Trick would kick ass.
Yeah, but as John Cena told Cody at WrestleMania when he got the belt, as you have it, that belt's gonna get heavier.
Oh, and also next week, Ivar versus Obafemi. Me.
Oh. Yeah. I want Ivar to be that Ivar. not the Viking bullshit. I want that Ivar that I saw going out against
Yeah.
Oma.
Absolutely.
That was so cool. That was like, oh, this was like that War Machine shit that we had in
it's
ROH.
Yeah, or I loved it. I loved it when they were the War Raiders when they were first in NXT, man.
Yeah.
Like I immediately was blown away by them because like the first ever takeover I watched when I first got back into wrestling. Did
you ever see them in ROH when they were War Machine?
No, I did not. No.
Oh, dude, them the Young Bucks. That was.
I started watching wrestling again in 2019, at the beginning of 2019. The first major WWE show I watched, because I didn't see the Rumble, because I didn't see Becky winning the Rumble and all that. But it was before that WrestleMania 35 was NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. That was my introduction to NXT, and I was immediately like, I fucking love this brand. Holy shit. Because that show was just off the charts insane. You had Ricochet and Malachi Black against the War Raiders in the opener. You had Gunther's in-ring debut against Pete Dunne when he won the UK title and held it for over 2 years. You had it was
was that when the crowd was like Walter?
You had Riddle versus Velveteen Dream, which was dope. And then the main event was 2 out of 3 falls match between Adam Cole and Johnny Gargano for the NXT title. That match was insane.
Oh yeah. That card. That was a good way to get back into wrestling because that card was.
No, that card was just mind-blowingly good.
Yeah.
And that match made immediately. I was like, okay, Adam Cole, Johnny Gargano. I fucking love you guys, and I've been fans of them ever since.
Yeah. And speaking about really good cards, let's get into Dynasty.
Yeah, let's talk about this really good pay-per-view.
We're going to talk the pay-per-view, and then we're going to go into Dynamite, right?
Yeah. Yep. Okay. All right, here we go. Recapping what happened on AEW's Dynasty pay-per-view that took place on Sunday night. On the pre-show, 0 Hour had Trip Beretta defeating Matt Sydal. Katsuyori Shibata and Orange Cassidy defeating Shane Taylor Promotions, Shane Taylor and Lee Moriarty. And in a unification match, Bullet Club Gold, Jay White, and the Guns defeated the Acclaimed and Badass Billy Gunn to unify both sets of trio titles from AEW and ROH. Then we got to the main show proper, and it kicked off with an excellent match. Continental Championship match. Okada defending against Pac. Fantastic opening match. Great stuff. Gave these guys time to cook, and they did. In the end, Okada emerged victorious with the Rainmaker. Keep the title. Then we had a 6-man tag. The House of Black taking on Adam Copeland, Eddie Kingston, and Mark Briscoe. House of Black emerged victorious this one with the ref distracted, Malachi Black sprayed black mist into Adam's Copeland's face and then hit him with the blackout to pick up the victory, probably setting up a title match between the two, maybe at Double or Nothing. Then we had Julia Hart defending the TBS title against Will Nightingale in a House Rules match. And the stipulation was that Sky Blue and Chris Statler were both barred from ringside for any kind of shenanigans. One of the shortest match of the card, only 6 minutes, probably because Julia may have hurt her shoulder. But Willow Nightingale finished off Julia and became the new TBS champion. And then Mercedes came out for a stare down as they are going to collide at Double or Nothing over the title. Then we had AEW International Championship match. Roderick Strong of the Undisputed Kingdom defending against former friend and Undisputed member Kyle O'Reilly. Good match between these two guys. They know each other very well. Roderick Strong picked up the victory clean. Then the rest of the Undisputed Kingdom showed up along with Adam Cole, still in the wheelchair to come up. But then Adam Cole got up and walked to the ring, showing that his recovery is going well, and hopefully he's going to be back in the ring soon. Baby. Then we had probably the weakest match of the show, in my opinion, the FTW Rules match between Chris Jericho and Hook. For some reason, I don't understand, Chris Jericho won the match. 2 juice effects and a bat finally put Hook down for the 3 count. More on this later. And then we had AEW Women's Championship match. Timeless Tony Storm defending against Thunder Rosa. This one was quite a really good match between these two, and Thunder Rosa's best match since she returned from injury. These two really worked well together. In the end, Tyler Stoney did a little chicanery. With the ref distracted, she kicked Thunder Rosa in the reproductive organs area. And then here was Storm Zero to retain the title. And then we had the match everyone was excited for. The dream match, Will Ospreay taking on Bryan Danielson one-on-one. As expected, and probably no surprise, this match was an absolute banger classic. At least 5-star level amazingness from both these guys. In the end, Ospreay hit Danielson with Tiger Driver 91, and then it followed up with a hidden blade to pick up the victory. Danielson sold that it looked like he was injured their match. That looks like it's storyline related. Check this match out if you haven't seen it. It's absolutely freaking amazing. All right. Then we had the ladder match for the vacant AEW Tag Team titles. Young Bucks taking on FTR. Some really brutal spots from these guys, man. They were really trying to hurt each other in this match. And as many predicted, Jack Perry showed up to help the Young Bucks pick up the victory. And the Young Bucks are once again, and now 3-time AEW Tag Team champions. So it looks like Jack Perry is joining the Elite. And then the main event, AEW World Championship match, Samoa Joe defending against Swerve Strickland. Another excellent match on this fantastic pay-per-view. Fans were really pulling for Swerve to win this, and he did. He beat Samoa Joe and is now the new AEW World Heavyweight Champion and the first African-American AEW champion in their history. Congrats to Swerve. You've earned it, buddy. And so that victory closed out a heck of a AEW pay-per-view. That's all that happened at the first ever AEW Dynasty pay-per-view.
All right. So here's what I gotta say. I hands up. Obviously, like I told you, and I told our viewers, I was gonna watch this pay-per-view. I was gonna buy it, all that stuff. But Twitter exists. The internet exists.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen what I need to see. And I will say this, as unfortunate as divisive in the tribalism that is wrestling fans for some dumbass reason.
Yeah.
When people are like, oh, Tony Khan doesn't know what the fuck he's doing, and this is WCW. WCW doesn't put on these fucking cards.
Yeah. Even it's like I saw people trying to label that AEW is going was starting to look like WCW 2000. When WCW 2000 not only was Nitro and Thunder shit, their pay-per-views were shit. Now AEW television can be hit and miss right now because it was really cooking after Revolution. And
what have we always said? What have we always said? Not to interrupt you. What have we always said? AEW's pay-per-views
delivers on the pay-per-view.
Fucking deliver. Oh, there's one of their 4-year career that they've under-delivered.
I would say is subpar, and that was World's End last year.
Yes. World's End was not good compared to their standards. But you give this card?
Yeah. And
their other cards that they've had?
Yeah.
This is not that WCW shit that people keep trying to relate it to.
No, this pay-per-view fucking delivered, man. Was there some weaker matches compared to others?
Yeah, that Jericho shit. Bull crap.
It's as long as you have like several really good matches, and maybe one or two like mind-blowingly 5-star level potentialities. And this show had a bunch of 4 to 5-star level matches. I mean, like the opener. All right, let's get the Zero was fine. Like those were throwaway matches. I was glad the Bullet Club Gold won all the trios titles because
Jay White needed it.
They needed it, and unfortunately the Acclaimed are like ice cold, man. They're not as over as they once were. They fucked them up. They fucked them up, and it pisses me off. But anyway, that's a whole nother topic. Okada and Pac, great opener, set the tone for the show. That match kicked ass. That was like at least like four. I consider like at least like a 4-star level match. And then I mean, then it's just like the goods just kept coming, man. It was just like the 6-man House of Black against the Babyfaces was really good. Looks like Malachi is going to come after the TNT title from Adam Copeland. That should be a fun feud.
Mm-hmm.
Probably that'll be a hell of a match at Double or Nothing, which they're going to do it there. Then the shortest match, one of the weakest matches, although the win was great. Unfortunately, I guess Julia hurt her shoulder more than they expected because that was only a 6-minute match. That was really short. So obviously Julia is not like 100%, but they're probably going to put Willow over anyway. So it was like because the money feud right now is between her and Mercedes with all the history.
I did like Brody's vignette though. I did like the
where he was like, "It's okay, we will
Right.
rebuild." It's like it's going to be all right.
Yep.
But yeah, the match was unfortunately short, and so it's not like the best thing. But Willow winning was great, and even though she's going to be transitional champion probably because Mercedes is going to take the title from her, I'm still happy for Willow because she's long overdue to hold the title. So that was great. Roderick Strong and Colorado, it's undisputed era. It's like, what do you expect? It's going to be.
They have chemistry.
They got chemistry, and they're going to cook. These guys were tag team champions in NXT,
right?
Under Undisputed Era. It's like they know each other really well.
Yeah.
So that match was great. No surprise, Strong won.
The Jericho match sucked.
No, that was the worst match. So Jericho versus Hook sucked. Tony. Again, this is coming from an OG Jerichoholic fan. You need to take Jericho off TV soon. The fans are tired of him.
He's on my Mount Rushmore. Take him off TV.
Yeah. When the fans are chanting for him to go away, that's not good.
I know you're paying him a lot of money. And maybe that's why your dad looked like he did at Dynamite. Because they're like,
one thing for Jericho to want to get heat. He's getting go away heat right now. Legit.
He's getting X-Pac heat.
He's getting X-Pac legit level go away heat.
Mm-hmm.
The
Which
fans
is crazy
about him.
In Jericho's career that he's getting X-Pac go away heat, but I get it now.
It hurts my heart to see Jericho getting X-Pac go away heat right now, and it was on the pay-per-view and it was loud.
Do you really want Hook to go to WWE? Let
Apparently
Jericho go over on him. Anyway, go ahead. Because I'm not going to let this. I'm not going to let this spoil this card because this card was great.
It was so stupid for Jericho to win, and the way he won, it's just that was the only major gripe I have with this show.
Yeah, go ahead to your baby girl. Still getting over.
Yeah. Now Timeless Tony and Thunder Rosa. I was wondering about this match because Thunder Rosa has been kind of like okay in the ring since she came back. They fucking went out and had a hell of a match. Mm-hmm. This was the best Thunder Rosa's look since she came back from injury.
Is that more with her, or is that Timeless, or is that just both?
Maybe both. I think maybe Tony helped bring out the best in her.
Because I think this was a better match than her and Deanna, honestly.
Oh yeah, I think it was. I think Tony and Thunder had better chemistry in this match.
Yeah.
It was fantastic, and I love the finish because it's like it leaves unfinished business.
Save Will and Daniel for last, by the way.
Okay, sure. All right. Ladder match was good. Wasn't, obviously they were really going for the violence because they were in a tough spot. They were coming off of Danielson Ospreay and Swerve Samoa Joe. So they were wedged in between two of the most highly anticipated matches on the show from the fans.
Would you have booked this? Would you put this match differently?
I would have put it earlier in the card.
Where?
I don't know.
That's the issue. It's like, where would you put it? Like, you wouldn't put it first.
I don't think it hurt it. It's just that it went a lot what I expected. I was like, I knew the Bucks are going to win, and as soon as people were like, "Oh man, they could totally have Jack Perry come out and help the Bucks win and screw FTR over," and that's exactly what happened.
The Okada-Pac match made so much sense to be the opener.
Oh no, that was a perfect opening match to set the tone for the show. I have no problem with that. They were in a tough spot, but honestly, they still came out with a really good match with that ladder match. And it got heat. It got a reaction.
Well, yeah, it's Bucks and FTR. Like, you're not gonna.
Jesus, Dax Harwood was like trying to. He was like, "Well, Moxie's on the show, so I'm gonna pull the gusher."
Dude, Dax.
Jesus, Dax. I love you, man, but it's like, come on.
They're still a better tag team.
You do not need to bleed that much. You do not need to bleed that much.
They're still the best tag team in the world.
Yep. I hope our beloved FTR get their payback eventually on Young Bucks for that bullshit.
It's just they're on the wrong show.
Mm-hmm. The main event was Samoa Joe Swerve was really, really damn good. Swerve got his big crowning moment, as we all hoped he would. So props to Tony Khan for pulling the trigger before at the right time, because it's like you couldn't hold off him winning the title anymore because of how over he is right now. It's like this was the right move, and so it'll be interesting to see how long the Swerve's gonna have the title. Everyone's worried that well, he's just gonna hold it until Ospreay takes it from it all in. Well,
no, 8-month reign at least.
Yes,
give me 8 months. Just Tony, give me 8 months.
Yeah, let him have a really good run.
He is that guy.
Yeah.
He has earned his spot.
They can hold off Ospreay for a little while. They don't have to give him the title right away.
Have him being the captain of going against the Elite, which we'll get into. Just he needs to be your face because he has earned that spot. He has put we're big Swerve fans here as it is. Like, we were big Swerve fans when he was in NXT, and then Vince McMahon fucked that up. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah.
It sucks that Keith Lee was screwed up in AEW, and I think he should be back on doing something on WWE at this point. But Swerve, this is his house.
It is. AEW is now Swerve's house, as it should be.
Yes. He has
grasped Tony.
He has grasped this company by the balls.
Yep.
And he's put on every time you ask, hey, we need someone to do something to make us have relevancy. Swerve delivers every fucking time.
Yeah.
And we've been wanting this to happen, and we knew this was probably going to happen at Dynasty, but you don't know it till it happens. Kind of with Cody.
Yeah.
It's like, Cody is the face of WWE going forward. Swerve. But Tony can be dumb. But Swerve is the face of AEW going forward. They tried with Hangman. It would work for a little bit. Didn't really work. Swerve, to me, with how he presents himself and how he does with, off-air interviews and stuff like that, Swerve is the face of AEW. It should be going forward. Do you disagree?
No, he should be. He should be treated as a top babyface right now, and he's got the title on it. So, absolutely. So, yeah, good job, Tony, of doing the right thing, putting the title in, and just book him right, please. All right, now Ospreay Danielson lived up to the hype and then some.
How long did they go? Did they have a time on that?
It was at least like a half an hour, I think.
Okay.
Let me check here. I think I got the time.
That's the one thing of like. Because it was that the one thing that
it was 30. It was just over 32 minutes long.
Okay, because I knew it was around 30.
Yeah.
Because typically Wrestle Kingdom lasts so fucking long because every match gets like
half an hour,
15 minutes. I'm like, Jesus Christ, guys.
Yeah.
Come on.
So I'm not gonna go and say this was like greatest match ever or match of the decade. It's definitely match it right now is definitely match of the year. It's probably going to win match of the year. I don't see anything topping it right now, but hey, you never know. We already had some banger matches this year, man. So it's definitely it was definitely like it was 5 stars. What else do you need to say? It was the banger we all hoped for, and it delivered. And thanks to this guy and Will Ospreay for putting on a motherfucking show.
All right, I don't like giving any fuel to Meltzer's fire, but Ospreay is the best in-ring worker right now. Other than Okada and Danielson, is there anyone at Ospreay's level? Because he's worked at and he's young enough.
I'd put Seth in their category.
Okay. That's what I'm saying. Like in WWE too, I'm trying to like throw people out there.
Cody's almost there. Cody's really.
He's not Seth level. He's not
Seth level. He's still really damn good though.
Because this match like made me like sit back and realize I'm like, is Ospreay really the best in ring? Like you give him and he can just destroy.
Yeah.
Because he went from being like him and Ricochet doing the Cirque du Soleil match that I really didn't care for.
And he's
had some brawling. Him and Kenny Omega made me realize that Ospreay can do whatever.
His in-ring work, along with just his personality, has already endeared him to AEW fan base. He is so over right now. It's crazy.
His mic skills are.
You haven't got the Dynamite. Did you hear that pop when he came out on Dynamite? It's like, dude.
Will Ospreay is.
He's special.
And Meltzer,
guy's always been special. Ospreay special, and so those two in the ring produced magic. It was that simple.
Yeah. And they gave him, and like they knew it sucked that it wasn't the headliner, but I don't think it took away from the headliner like Hulk Hogan and like Rock did that one year. I don't think it took. Do you think it took away from like Swerve and Samoa?
No, I don't think so. Because if it had been second to last, absolutely would have.
Mm-hmm.
That's why the ladder match was a good buffer between those two so that people could really enjoy and savor Swerve's crowning moment. It definitely would have overshadowed if they had been one after the other for sure. Because it's like, dude, how are you gonna? They needed a bit of a buffer because it's like, how the hell are you gonna top what Ospreay and Danielson just did? It's like, dude, hey Jeremy, good you could join us. He's probably watching it. There's a lot of draft action going on tonight. This might be. You can make an argument it's the best AEW match yet, and they've had some incredible 5-star level matches already in their history. It's definitely up there. It's like it's easily top 5.
Yeah,
Gunther. Yeah. No, and also Gunther. It's like I said. They've Gunther and Ospreay have tangled. Go watch it. It's fucking banger.
Yeah. There was I remember the Paul Heyman when he was like, he wasn't even part of WWE at the time. He was like in between before Brock Lesnar came back. And he had Will Ospreay was like just coming up. And he like brought him on stage and was like, I offer you a contract to like, some bullshit company. That didn't work out anything. But like that was when I first heard of Will Ospreay. I'm like, who's Will Ospreay? And I watched him, and then obviously he had that match with Ricochet in New Japan. And I watched it, and I was like, yes, it's cool, but they didn't sell anything. And then he had the matches with Kenny Omega, and like as he got there, I was like, okay, this guy's got something.
Yeah, no, and there was
really good.
Match. I mean, Bryan Danielson is one of the best sellers I've ever seen. The way he sold
to me, Sean is the best seller of all time.
Oh, HBK
sold against Hogan, but still.
HBK, he's always going to have a special place in my heart. I love that man. Danielson is on HBK's level of just being an amazing seller. He sold that. It's like he was so good. I was like, oh my god, is he actually hurt? But I was like, the way they were doing it, there was no X or anything. I was like, okay, it's storyline.
Yeah.
And they furthered it on Dynamite. It's like now Ospreay's like, I don't want to use that move anymore. And Callis wants him to, so. That it's part of the storyline to eventually separate him from the Don Callis family because he's so over as a babyface. It's like he should not be part of a heel group.
It's so weird when Brian came to WWE with that NXT shit, like before the NXT was a thing, and like they had like the thing, and they did the Nexus and all that shit, and he like got fired, but everyone was like, no, we want him back. Like of all the people,
thankfully
they were like, no, we want him back because the American Dragon because of what he did in ROH. And so I like went back and watched him. I'm like, oh yeah, he's really good. And like you think about like that class of like CM Punk and Samoa Joe, and then Bryan Danielson, but Bryan Danielson was that guy, and then he actually had like personality go with it, and like his work as a heel, to put over Kofi like that that's why I would always put him over Will at this point. But obviously Brian's like, almost 40.
So yeah, it's like he did such a great job of selling that he was hurt off the Tiger Driver because he didn't get dropped on his fucking head like poor Kenny did last year. I don't know how Kenny didn't get concussed. No, he that's like you can't ask for a better. If you're gonna do Tiger Driver 91, which is a pretty brutal fucking looking move, he dropped him perfectly onto his shoulders with that Tiger Driver.
Yeah, but damn, this was a match for the ages.
Yep.
It lived up to the hype, and you know how they sold it.
Good luck to any other match this year trying to displace this as match of the year because it's going to be hard to top.
You know how, and the crazy part is you knew how good this match was. You know how they sold it? They just looked at each other the whole time. All Brian Danielson did was just like, Will Ospreay like cut a promo, and then he came out and just looked at him and just smiled and was like, "We're gonna do this, and we're gonna make a lot of money."
Mm-hmm.
And you know what they did? They made a lot of money.
Yep. So this was a fantastic pay-per-view.
Yeah. And so when people say like, "Oh, AEW, they're just doing WWE or WCW back in the day," yes, their booking has some issues.
Yes.
They never put on this card. They never put on amazing cards every single freaking time when it comes to pay-per-views. And Jeremy, I know you're listening. Tell me that. Tell me I'm wrong. And then we're gonna end up. And speaking about controversial shit, because that's why we're ending with it.
Oh yeah, let's finish off with Dynamite here.
Let's go finish off with Dynamite.
All right, here's a recap of what happened on this week's episode of AEW Dynamite. The show opened with footage showing the Young Bucks and Okada arriving, along with the scapegoat, Jack Perry, in tow. Then we cut to the ring. Before we even got a match, Trent Beretta dragged Orange Cassidy out, beating him down. Called Chuck Taylor out to choose a side, telling him that we wasted 5 years being friends with a narcissist like Orange, who he's supposed to be their sidekick, but they ended up being his lackeys, and he was sick and tired of it. He asked Chuck to choose. Chuck looked like he was going to side with Trent, but then told him he always knew he was a piece of shit and attacked him, staying on the side of the good guys. And then he challenged Trent to a street fight. Looks like will happen on the weekend shows. And then we had eliminator match with new AEW champion Swerve Strickland taking on Kyle Fletcher. Good match. Swerve won, no surprise. I have more thoughts about this later. Then we had Anna Jay taking on Mina Shirakawa. Mina Shirakawa picked up the victory. Mariah May, who was there at ringside, came out to celebrate. Anna Jay was pissed and attacked them, trying to choke out Mariah, but Tony Storm ran out to make the save. And as Timeless was comforting Mariah, all of a sudden Serena Deeb, as music hit, she came out, held the title that Tony had dropped on the way to the ring, and then cut a promo saying that she's not going to touch the belt again until she defeats Tony Storm for it. So it looks like we got Timeless's next challenger. Then we had Stokely Hathaway and Chris Statler in the ring, bring out Will Nightingale to celebrate her winning the TBS Championship at the pay-per-view. A little bit of promo there between the two, and then Mercedes Moné music hit, of course, came out, and those two went back and forth. Mercedes started ripping into Willow, obviously making it clear that she blames her for the injury in their match last year, and that she almost took away her career and everything, which meant most to her. And then, but Willow fought her back, saying that she felt that win has an asterisk on it, but this time when they fight for the TBS title at Double or Nothing, it won't be an asterisk. She wants Mercedes 100% so that she could beat her and prove that she's better. Good promo work from both ladies for this. Alex Marvez saw the Elite coming out of Tony Khan's office, obviously trying to see if they can get Jack Perry reinstated. Matthew Jackson told him that Tony Khan agreed to meet Jack Perry in the ring, talk about it later in the evening. Then we had what was called a Casino Gauntlet match, Casino Battle Royal style, but just with one person coming in at a time. A winner would get a title shot against Roderick Strong for the AEW International Championship at Double or Nothing. Participants included Dante Martin, Jay Lethal, Switchblade Jay White, Commander Kyle O'Reilly, Lance Archer, Penta El Zermito, and shockingly Will Ospreay. Really good stuff in this match. It was pretty chaotic, but there was really a lot of good spots, especially when Ospreay got in there and who he mixed up with. Him and Kyle O'Reilly really went after each other. In the end, Commander hit a shooting star press to break up a pin Ospreay was doing on Kyle, but he hit Kyle instead. Ospreay ducked and then hit Commander quickly with the hidden blade to pick up the victory and become the number one contender. Then the Undisputed Kingdom's music hit, and the entire Undisputed Kingdom, including Adam Cole, came out, and Roderick Strong got in Ospreay's face to start the build toward their match at the pay-per-view. Chris Jericho came out with new music with the new World Tree moniker, saying that he's renaming the F2 Championship to mean for the world, and that he did what he had to do to cook the division, blah, blah, blah. Then all of a sudden, Big Bill came out saying that he wants to be under the guidance of Chris Jericho and the Living Tree. Chris says he's watched for a long time, and he's one of the reasons he's going to keep an eye on him and see if what he says is true. Big Bill just tells him, just watch him. Okay. More intrigue with the Don Callis family as Ospreay, Don Callis, and Kyle Fletcher were interviewed backstage. Callis was saying that he was expecting Will to use the Tiger Driver in the match, and Ospreay saying no, he doesn't want to use that move anymore after what happened with Bryan Danielson during their match at the pay-per-view. Sowing more seeds of dissension for eventually Ospreay to split from the Callis family. Then we had IWGP World Heavyweight Championship match, the main event match. Jon Moxley defending against Powerhouse Hobbs. This was a good match until one point looked like Hobbs may have hurt his knee. Long after that, he hit Hobbs with a paradigm shift and then put him in sleeper to put him to sleep and to pick up the victory and retain the title. After the match, Takeshita came out and indicated that he wants to have the next crack at Moxley in the IWGP Championship. Shibata was talking to Renee and called out Chris Jericho, saying that he was going to get his hands on him on a match on the weekend. And then we had the main event segment. Tony Schiavone introduced Jack Perry first. Jack says that, one of the best days of his life was when he came here working at AEW. He asked Tony Khan to come out. So it's been a long road. They've been working 5 years since the first Double or Nothing. They haven't always seen it eye, but in the bottom of my heart, all he's ever wanted is what's best for AEW. And he asked Tony to shake his hand and reinstate him to give him a second chance. Tony does. They shake hands. They hug. Everything looks good. And then Jack Perry clotheslines Tony Khan down with a punch. The Young Bucks and Okada run out. Look like they're going to help Tony up, but instead they attack him as well. And they give a Meltzer driver to Tony Khan. Refs and people run out to check on Tony as he's laid out in the ring. And the Elite leave, and a bunch of babyfaces in the locker room come out to check on him, including his father, Shahid Khan, as well, to close out the show. And so that's all that happened on this week's episode of AEW Dynamite.
All right, so Justin, of what we've talked about, this is the best angle this week.
Yeah.
And it's kind of weird because we're like, yeah, this is the best angle. But why is it so divisive online?
I think it's because of a combination that your new AEW champion opened the show and didn't even get to cut a promo and had a completely meaningless match. Even though it was a good match, it was completely meaningless against Kyle Fletcher. And then, you had the Jericho segment, which was nothing but death. That didn't help
That
either.
was so boring.
Yep. And also you give Jericho and Willow mic time hyping up what they're gonna do, but you don't let Swerve talk. Your new AEW champion, he doesn't even get to cut one promo on the first show after he wins the title.
Yep.
That combined with the main event. I have no problem with the whole main event segment. This has the potential to be a really good angle with the Elite attacking Tony and trying to do an NWO takeover style of AEW. Has the potential to be a really good angle. And props to Tony. He's selling that. He's got a neck brace on at the draft tonight. He's keeping the kayfabe going. God bless him for that. It's just the way that the rest of the show was structured, because there was some mess stuff around it. I think it was part of the problem, and I think that was they were like, why? It's like, but I understand why they did that segment. That's a killer way to end the show. It's a shocking thing to do. It's like oh my God, they attacked Tony Khan. They attacked Tony. What the f? It's like,
right. We're talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. Is let's give them something to talk about, like, but in a good way, because like people, but it's so divisive, and but I understand your situation. Like, people just thought it was dumb. I'm like, yeah, he didn't sell the. And some people don't like myself. I'm not a big Jack Perry guy.
Oh yeah, he sold the attacks better than I've ever seen Vince sell.
Yeah, remember when he like with his first stunner and like stuff like that?
Yeah.
Like yeah, he just
it's horrible stuff.
Yeah, overselling. But of this week, we're talking more about AEW, which is what they want to talk about.
Yes, they got to keep.
I'll give them that. But yes, it undermined Swerve. They gave Jericho a freaking segment that no one gave a shit about.
Nope.
Willow's not good on the mic.
I feel bad for Big Bill getting wasted by getting sucked into Jericho's orbit.
Yeah, and just and Swerve like coming out and just having a random match.
That new music is so lame. Oh my God.
Big Bill's?
No, Jericho's.
Oh yeah,
the
new one.
Oh,
yeah,
God.
Yeah,
not good.
I think they were trying to make fun of like how like WWE's like themes are. Apparently, it's like someone said like that. I'm like, well, they didn't come across that way. It just no one liked Jericho to begin with, and then it wasn't like whatever.
Yeah, and I agree with Jericho. It was that ended up it was a little chaotic, but I ended up enjoying it. The only problem I have with that kind of match is when you have that many people out there, you had too many guys kind of just like I need to get out of the match to let other people shine. It's like, just keep the action going, because it doesn't look good when it's like it's obvious the guys are sitting out of the match on purpose to let other people get their shit in. It's like, have stuff, have a little bit more chaos, like cut to like more action instead of just like one-on-one in the ring. It's like, right. But it still came off really well. I mean, seeing Ospreay mix up with a bunch of different people was awesome. I mean, him and Kyle O'Reilly were fucking cooking for a while. That match.
But he alluded to it. No build. That is the issue with Tony Khan.
Yeah,
there absolutely is, and we've said that. I don't know, ad nauseum. And that's the one thing that WWE is doing very well right now. At least you buy why the match is happening. Now you have to sell the next card, and you have to show like it's not. But he has to get away from just a random indie booking. You have to sell a storyline. You have to do it.
You have to, because
you're not booking a show for a live audience. You're doing a show for a TV audience. There's a difference in that, and you have to understand that. And I feel like the Young Bucks don't understand that.
Yeah. Jerry also a good point. That was definitely a highlight. I thought they had a nice match. Mina's really good.
Anna is the best looking wrestler that has potential and still hasn't gotten over the threshold.
I've always thought that she had the potential to be at the top of the division, but she's never been given that opportunity, really. Or that really.
It's not that she had that opportunity. It's just the fact that she's not good. She's never gotten over it.
No.
If you put her in NXT, guarantee you she
was in the Dark Order for too long, and that was death.
Yeah, but give Anna Jay NXT, and if she doesn't make it there, then
she went from the Dark Order to the JS, and just was like, it was going. No. That was going from going nowhere to going nowhere again.
Anna Jay is a very good looking woman.
Yeah,
who has I can see her in-ring work to make it. She needs to go to NXT to get that training. And if she doesn't buy into it at that point, then she's
got
not
the
going to
talent.
make it.
It's like she just needs. I always felt that she needs to make a little bit more refinement, but yeah, no, Stardom ladies, they got lots of talent there. I mean, that's why Triple H and them snagged Julia.
Yep.
It's like
the Golden Goose better watch out, because if Julia gets on NXT,
yeah, it's like look out, Roxanne.
Yeah.
Look out.
Julia's gonna run circles around you if you don't watch out.
No, I've been watching her stuff on YouTube. God, she's amazing.
Yeah,
It's
but
really
this last angle, I enjoyed it.
yes,
because it got.
I love the shit-eating grin that Perry put into the camera. Like he's such an idiot, and then attacked him. That's where I was like, oh no, he's actually going to attack Tony.
I know people like Cornette put out the whole CM Punk thing of Tony said he was never going to be part of storylines. Unfortunately, it made sense for him to do it.
For this, yes.
And you just need something.
And if this is his only involvement and he has other baby faces fight the Elite for him, then it's perfectly fine.
Like Orange Cassidy and stuff like that. Even though Trent, I don't mind Trent's. It's just you need to sell TV. Unfortunately, he doesn't sell. They're not selling TV very well.
No,
they're not.
That's why they've had attendance issues at a lot of the TV shows. They didn't have an attendance problem for the pay-per-view. They sold out the fucking pay-per-view.
No, they sell a lot of pay-per-views, and they're going to have good buys because the wrestling fans are always going to buy into that. But the week-to-week television, you can't have indie cards. You have to have week-to-week television. That WWE, it's a machine.
Yeah.
They're 4 years old at this point? Like, you have to have.
WWE's been selling out the weekly shows for ridiculous a long time here. Because people are invested.
Yes. You invest in the storylines.
Yeah.
It is a live action soap opera that's been going on for 40 years.
Also, I felt bad for Powerhouse Hobbs. I was like, look, I understand why you have a match, but it's just like, well, once the title's out, I was like, well, yeah. Well, once they put the title on the line, I'm like, oh god, he's not gonna beat Moxley now. And I don't know if he got hurt or something. It felt like the match was cut a little bit short. I hope Hobbs is okay. It looked like he may have hurt his knee. I hope it's not serious. I felt bad for him. It's like okay, now he's gonna job the Moxley. It's like so that was unfortunate. The match didn't feel like it didn't really get going. I was expecting something better. I think the injury may have him looked like hurting his knee may have cut things short. I don't know. So that was a little disappointing. But it was an okay show. It was a mixed bag, but it's like there's some potential for some really good stuff here. Like, so it's very interesting. Ospreay challenging Roddy for the international title. I guess they're going to keep him away from Swerve for a while.
They should.
And it makes sense.
Same thing with Mercedes.
They got to put a belt on him at some point. It's
Hell
like you got to give him something because he's so over. So, and plus the international works because he's an international guy. So that's a perfect first title to give him before he eventually wins the AEW title. Because eventually he's going to win the AEW title. There's no question. He's going to be the champion at some point. But let Swerve have a good run before you give it to Ospreay. It's like, right. Don't cut Swerve's time as AEW champion short because you just want to belt Ospreay. It's like, if you do things right with Ospreay, the fans will be willing to wait for him to get crowned AEW champion. So, there's no way he's not losing to Roddy. He's not going to get pinned by Roddy. So it's like,
no.
But that match is going to fucking cook though.
Yeah.
Ospreay versus Roddy, that's going to kick ass.
Yeah. So I will end with this. Do you think that angle with the Elite doing that to Tony Khan actually worked or it didn't? Because the internet says one way it was stupid as hell, and the other one said it was a really good starting point.
I think it's a good idea. The execution may have been not perfect, but if the rest of the angle pays off well, then you can label it a success.
Okay.
Oh, and also that face off between Willow and Mercedes, that's the best mic work Mercedes has done. She's been at AEW. That's some of the best I've heard from her in a while. That was really good stuff between her and Willow. I really like that. That really helped build toward their title match at Double or Nothing.
No, I'm definitely looking forward to it. Well, if anything, that is almost 2 hours, 30 minutes. That's what happens when we have pay-per-views involved. But Justin, I know it's late. Thank you always for hanging out, and I love talking wrestling with you. All of you all, Jeremy, and everyone else that wants to comment later, thank you so much for hanging out. Patreon.com/RuckusTV. If you want to join the Patreon Discord, we always are talking wrestling over there, much less our other shows that we do. Random bracket battles, talk about movies. We do all that sorts of things. So please feel free to check out our channel because we just don't just do wrestling, even though this is something that we love. We've been doing this weekly by weekly. But anything, Justin, it's always a pleasure.
Thank you.
It's always a good time, and we will see you all next time.